Welcome to Chance Encounters, the show where we throw cliches and our own characters out the window.
No!
Oh no!
He set you up.
Oh boy, I needed to get that one out of me. I've been thinking about it all week. So,
Oh my god. I thought you were going to say all day.
6 days of just that pun in his head.
yeah.
I appreciate it. It happens.
So last time on First City, as the party's investigation into the events of the fire continued, sort of under the table mandated by Pantheon herself, you continued your investigation with your friend Baby Loney. You talked to a student named Poltergeist who talked to you about the ways that psychic powers can manifest, and that it might have been like a passive sort of psychic warding ability that someone did, whoever Backtrack had seen when he used his power. Might not have even known what they were doing. The next day, Backtrack finally woke up after his little 3-day coma and told you that he saw in the forest that night Dr. Guest. He, in Backtrack's words, seemed to materialize out of the shadows of the forest and was looking very intently past the house across the street. You learned that that house across the street was actually, at the moment, empty because it was meant to be put aside for you guys if you chose to take it. And the high window that he saw was open could directly look out across the street and see the entire party. So you were left with the idea that maybe whoever did this, whoever set the fire, might have been watching from there. You took it upon yourselves to go investigate that house, where you found that the lock in front of the door was kind of melted from the inside. As you went inside, you stepped up to the second floor into the room with the open window, where you found burned handprints on the windowsill, as well as an old news clipping of the same article that Wi-Fi had sent you guys about the previous fire in a town called Amberley up north. It also had written across its surface, "No justice before truth." It was at this time that Baby Loney heard a sound, a slight creaking in the hallway. You went out quietly to try and investigate, opened the door, and found a figure in black armor about to leap out of the window. They looked back at you with a deliberate smirk before Haramone pulled Baby Loney in silhouette out of the room just in time for this figure to press a button on their gauntlet and fill the room with this noxious, obscuring smoke that BB seemed to be familiar with from a certain recent memory. BB then charged through the smoke, leapt toward the window to tackle this figure, and found empty air where the figure had been. As we pick up now, BB, that realization hits you as you kind of come through the fog of the cloud, having resisted it with your own constitution. You break the cloud and you just see the street getting closer and closer. And as you kind of flip, looking up, as your vision is looking up in that fog-filled window, you can't help but think of that memory again. The image of those people standing behind the window watching you, those figures you didn't know in their gray cloak-like attire, and the face of Detective Asher watching. And your vision becomes clear again, and you realize you're going to have to make a decision pretty quickly here. So at this moment, I'm going to take this opportunity to introduce a new game mechanic that we have not encountered yet, something I've been sort of kicking around since we started. What we have here is a moment of crisis. This is a moment where you're falling roughly 25 feet with nothing really to grab onto. There's no recourse, no safe roll that's going to prevent a lot of damage here. Given your power set, there's really not a lot that you could do, right?
Hey, I know martial arts. I can roll.
In a moment like this, you have a choice to accept the moment of crisis or behave sort of as normally. If you choose to behave as normally, you would roll maybe an agility check or maybe a constitution check, whatever feels right to you that could maybe mitigate some of the fall damage or try to, maybe not get knocked unconscious, just sort of a normal effect. So you're on the sort of middle of the road spectrum of possible consequences here, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you accept the moment of crisis, you are essentially taking a high risk, high reward sort of a path where if you make a roll here, you have to roll a full success or more, meaning no failures whatsoever. And if you roll a full success or more, you will have an actual net positive. You'll be able to somehow miraculously get yourself out of this situation, maybe even using your power somehow. And we'll workshop that if it happens. And it will become this sort of legendary moment. The moment of crisis will evolve into a legendary moment that people will talk about and remember that you managed to get out of this somehow. But if you get anything less than a full success, the consequences will be worse.
And I can't re-roll. I can't re-roll based on skill. Like, I have the martial arts skill, so even if I have one failure, I can't re-roll that.
Correct. In the moment of crisis, this is not a moment where you can use re-rolls.
Oh, shit. Well, Jinkies.
Jinkies is right.
Yeah, I got it. I mean, this is an entirely high risk, high reward. I mean, did BB think that the assassin might break her fall? Yes. Is that the reality that we're living in? No. So BB's a high risk, high reward type of person.
So you're gonna take the moment of crisis?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what? What is
So what are you trying to roll here? Agility?
Yes.
Okay.
Whatever I have a 3 in. Which
Yeah.
is agility, yeah.
With the moment of crisis, the best move is to try and justify using your best thing, your highest thing that you have.
Okay. Let's go. The last one was cocked, so
Okay.
we're gonna re-roll it.
Wait, you...
Fuck! Sorry.
Oh,
That was 2 successes and 1 failure.
Oh man.
damn.
Okay.
By a margin of what? Like, what was the failure?
Two
it a
turn. It's. I mean, it was a 2.
And there were no 6s involved, right?
There's 1 6. But like, that's not a full success, is it?
Well, a full
It's 3 out of
success
3.
is rolling the number of successes equal to the amount of dice that you rolled.
Okay, then I got a 3 out of 3.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
So you did do it.
Yeah.
Yay!
Okay, that changes things a little bit.
Oh.
I'm sweating so hard. Ooh.
Okay. So I have a pitch for you about how this could work. And if
Okay.
you want to adjust anything that I say about this, feel free to, because this is your moment here.
Okay.
But BB, as you're falling, the ground is coming up fast. You realize there's nothing agility-wise that you could really do that is going to make you not break a bone or something here. And in this moment, you think, I have to try something. You look off in the distance, maybe about, I'm going to say 15 feet off from the front door of the house. And you're moving like at an arced angle, so you're moving out, but it's a good ways off, definitely not in your falling trajectory. There is a street light there. And as you're falling, I think that maybe you test the limits of your power and discover a new way to use it. And I think you maybe stretch your hands out, shout bang, and shoot either toward the ground or toward the house, to the wall of the house, and push yourself with the momentum of the blast toward that light pole.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. I think it's both hands, which she doesn't normally do, and she tries to like power up to the degree that she can, like Kamehameha almost. Does she shoot towards the ground or the house? I think she'll shoot towards the ground. This is our house. I can't damage our house.
So as you
Property
shoot
damage.
toward
Yeah.
the ground, there's this definite sensation where it should feel like a loss of control, but in this moment of crisis, this familiarity kicks in, your training kicks in, something clicks. And as you fire out, you feel this accelerated level of control. And this powerful concussive blast erupts from your fingers. And you see two, like basketball-sized craters in the sidewalk. As you, there's almost this sonic sound. Haramone and Silhouette, and Baby Loney, who's still with you, as you guys pull back, you see that smoke cloud still in front of you. You saw BB rush into it, but you don't know what happened after that. You guys just hear this sort of sonic boom kind of a sound. You know the sound in Attack of the Clones that Jango Fett's like bomb things make when he's trying to get, when they're like, like that crazy
sure,
like sonic wavelength sound. It's like this smaller muffled version of that you guys hear. And BB, you feel the momentum. There's this kind of like stomach drop, like you're on a roller coaster, where your momentum has suddenly shifted from down to up. And as you arc backwards toward this light pole, you twist yourself in the air, reach out with both hands, and you grab it sideways like a flagpole. And you are now spinning down toward the ground as your momentum slows, and you land on your feet. And there's this moment, just this moment of stunned silence on the street.
Like, people are there and saw this?
So, BB, I'm going to have you go ahead and make a perception roll for me here.
Okay. What would that be? What stat?
It could be intelligence or willpower, depending on how you're doing it.
Okay. Both of those are very low. So
Yeah.
they're both 1. So
The general conceit is willpower if you're gauging
2 out of
more
1,
advanced.
baby.
Ooh.
That's what we're here for. We're serving full successes today.
BB, as you land on your feet, you look kind of back and forth down the street. You look at the craters that you made, and you see faces peeking out of windows.
Oh my god.
People heard the sounds that were coming out of this, and the sound that you made in this moment, this new discovery of how you might use your power, people saw this. And you're looking around also, you don't see that armored figure.
BB looks around at the different people assembled in the street and then looks at her hands and then looks back around at the people. It's like, I hope you have a good afternoon. And then she runs inside.
You run back inside. Haramone, so we'll back up just a little bit
Yeah.
to you guys. So as you pulled them out, what were you guys doing in this moment?
So, okay. The fog is like staying. It's not quickly dissipating.
It's starting to roll out the window,
Oh,
but it's a very thick
shite.
smoke, and
Um,
it's meant to linger and stay. So it's slowly,
Okay.
but the window is kind of pulling it out.
Pulling it out. Okay, so I'm gonna take my water bottle that I probably have on me because it's important to stay hydrated. Especially
Hydrate the hustle.
when you work out so much, you gotta stay hydrated. Otherwise, those muscles are not gonna work.
Good point.
I'm gonna. I assume it's kind of like an Nalgene because you just, I don't know. And I'm gonna dump it out as much as I can. And then I'm going to take a big, deep breath and go in and try to capture some of the smoke inside of it.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
I assume this happens before. Well, it's all happening at the same time.
So when you do this, do you hold your breath?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because you're gonna need to
Yes.
going into this stuff.
Take a big, deep breath and go.
Okay.
And, like,
I won't
seal it
make a
real
roll
tight.
on that. You're pretty much able to do that. So you have this sort of cloud of roiling black smoke like fog
and
stuff.
I'll seal it as tighter than usual just so it doesn't escape or anything.
Okay.
And then I assume we hear the sound.
Yeah. As you're bottling that, that would have been like split seconds.
Yeah.
So you'd be like in the middle of doing that when you heard that sound. And you see Loney's eyes are wide and she looks in the direction of the smoke and then back at you guys. And there's this moment where she's about to speak and then doesn't and just runs outside. She just like bursts down the stairs.
Do I catch her as I'm coming inside?
So as you're coming inside, you open the door and Loney has reached the bottom of the stairs and she gets in and she's like, "You're not dead."
No, I'm fine, but the ground isn't. And the person in black is gone. Are you okay? Is Silhouette and Harmon okay?
Yeah, they're up there catching smoke in a bottle.
Cool.
I'm not too worried about the ground. The ground doesn't really have a neck to break. We should get out of here.
Yeah, let's do that. I don't know where we're gonna go, but let's do that.
I'll maybe try to mitigate some of the attention a little bit. This is probably where I say sayonara for the moment. This is getting big, and I think my team needs me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go sit down. But yeah, it was a pleasure being in your company.
Tell the other guys, if you ever need an extra brain, you know where to find me.
Gotcha. Thank you. We shake hands warmly. BB will pull the hand into a one-armed hug.
As you do this, I do need you to make a we'll call it willpower.
Willpower, not strength.
Maybe Constitution.
Is that a 3 on BB's sheet?
Yeah.
Okay. 1 success out of 3.
No.
Okay. So as you do that, you hear her go, "Whoa!" And that surprised moment of not really knowing that you were about to do that, you feel the energy, this rush of adrenaline that had propelled you through this moment, just sap out of your body, and you feel like a limp noodle, and you kind of crash to one knee for a second. And she takes a step back and puts her hands to her mouth. She goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
Yeah. No, it's fine. I'm gonna go lie down now.
Yeah.
But I'll remember not to surprise show affection in the future. BB goes in and lays down at the bottom of the stairs.
As you turn around to walk, you hear her kind of mutter under her breath, "That's all, guys." And she turns and walks away.
Oh my god.
That's so good.
So cute. I'd like to think that at this point, Silhouette has gained awareness and is just like BB, and she runs down the stairs in the same way that baby Loney had just done, but now sees BB lying on the porch.
For all you know,
and it's just kneels down, is like, "Oh my gosh, she's dead. BB's dead. BB's
No,
dead.
I'm fine. I did that," and she points at the holes in the ground, and I landed with no problem, but then I tried to hug baby Loney, and she took all my energy, so I'm just resting.
You sound delusional. Are you sure you're not dead?
No, but
I didn't even know you could do that.
You and me both, sister. Yeah, I guess this is just a 24 hours of 48 hours of immense personal growth, both physically and emotionally.
Silhouette kind of tries to help BB up in like a sitting position so she's not just like looking dead.
So BB, you have unlocked a new use of your power.
Ooh.
You can now utilize a D12 of your power to, instead of the normal deadly blast that you do, it can be a more purely concussive blast that can actually propel you in midair.
Ooh.
For short bursts. You can
Okay.
move like 10 feet.
You're like a pogo stick, but with finger guns.
Yeah.
That's fun.
It's essentially
That's
like
tight.
you've learned a new level of control. So it's not that you get a new D12. You can use a
Yeah.
D12 in a different way.
Can I push people away from me as well?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, if
Tight.
you're doing the concussive blast at people, yeah, you can then push them back instead of just shoot them.
Okay. Love it.
So this is kind of a fluid way that leveling up happens as well. There are the structured level ups that we will hit at like, key moments, but then in these big moments of crisis or personal growth or what have you, if these big legendary moments take hold, any one of you could unlock new facets of your power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Is Harmon okay?
Yeah, so you
I
bottled
say
the
to
stuff.
I bottled
Joe,
the
yeah.
stuff. I ran from one room to the other to make sure that the stuff did not follow me on my person and didn't knock me out. And then I'll go hurriedly down the stairs. And when I see BB is fine, there's like a sigh of relief, but it also mixes with like a huff of annoyance. And Harriman will just sit down wherever and be like, so should we call on Pantheon for like the second time in a day?
I don't know what else we'd do. There's no one else really to turn to. That's probably what's going to have to happen. I mean, there's like an assailant on school grounds. That's a problem and something that administration should probably know about.
True. I mean, not saying they wouldn't believe us, but we should probably try to get
Well, you have
more
the smoke.
proof or something besides this.
Well, we have the piece of paper, we have the ash, we have Baby Loney's testimony. That's a lot of evidence.
True. I mean, I guess I don't want to. Like, you see her have like an internal crisis for a quick second and blush really, really hard. I mean, there is someone we could talk to.
Who?
To give everyone a better idea of what the person looked like. Her name is Snapshot, and she has a power that could be helpful. I mean, we would need to get Link too, to do it. But if we want to accurately depict instead of just describe what the assailant looked like, we could ask her for help.
Yeah, I mean, it's a mask, but a blank mask. But do we know where this person is? Can we just like go find them?
I don't have her number, but I'm sure someone does. I mean, Monarch probably knows someone who has it if she doesn't have it herself.
So let's text her.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess we'll text Monarch, and if someone could text Link or Porter, and ask for Link too, that would be helpful.
Okay. And where are you asking? You're asking them to go back to Backtrack's room?
Should we ask them to meet us at our place, or where Backtrack is at? Did Backtrack get discharged from the
It's
hospital yet?
been a minute, so you might assume that he could be back in his own home again by this point.
All right. I mean, I think Backtrack has a right to know, since So maybe we'll go ask them to meet at Team Blackout's house. Does that sound good?
We would ask for Lincoln Porter.
Link? Well, we need Link and we need Snapshot.
Why would we need Link?
So, okay. So the way, as I understand it, as she told me, her power, she can essentially burn or imprint perfect images from her brain onto surfaces. So if Link takes thoughts from our brains and links them to hers, she can essentially photocopy from our brains, as I understand it.
Couldn't we also just go to out of character, Eric is actually forgetting this this superhero's name. The leader of Nova, whose name is Fortress. Can't you just tell if we're telling the truth or not?
Well, it's not so much as telling the truth as giving them a better picture of the truth. If they know what this assailant looks like, they can keep an eye out in a capacity outside of the school, even for people who are dressed like them.
All right, let's do it. Joe, can you text Porter and Link and Echo? I'm just gonna close my eyes for a minute.
Are you okay? What happened?
It's good. It's really good.
You
no
jumped,
one's talking.
You
no
jumped out a window.
Yeah,
bang,
but
bang.
no one's talking about the giant holes I made in the ground, which I think are really impressive and something I've never done before. But
bang bang, you jumped out a window.
Well,
a 25-foot window.
I don't know what else you're supposed to do in that case to get someone who's spreading smoke out of a house. I wasn't going to shoot him or her. I don't know who they are. I just thought that was the best way to get the smoke away from you guys.
Silhouette.
Pheromone will just start texting.
Yeah. Silhouette also, before she texts Link, or you said Lincoln Porter, right?
Mm-hmm.
First send Wi-Fi a text. It was Wi-Fi, right? Yeah. And be like, or I guess it wouldn't even be a text. I could text. I send them a text that says like, you can stop the recording now.
You hear she responds very quickly. Actually, there's a text from her even before you start that says incoming. And as you look up, there's just this bluster, this movement, similar to Pantheon, but there's something more static here. Your hair kind of stands on end. And as you look up, you see this vibrating red and yellow blur that stops on the sidewalk between you guys and these craters in the ground. And you see standing before you Dr. Quickstep. A tall, muscular woman with her red and yellow bodysuit that she wears with her black leather kind of short-cut jacket over it with the sleeves rolled up. The big, black goggles that she wears. And her two, big puffs of hair that come out underneath where the helmet that she wears. And she stands there and she's kind of tapping her foot. Her expression is just very cool and collected. Her mouth is a tight line as she looks up at the smoke billowing out of the window, back down at you guys.
Hey, ma'am.
She just takes two small, deliberate steps forward towards you. And she looks you over. Haramon, since you spoke first, she looks at you and she says, would you care to illuminate first?
Yeah, we were just in the middle of figuring that out. Basically, you have a little pest on campus, and did this. It's actually kind of great you were here, because I was going to give this to you.
You're handing her the bottle?
Not yet. She's just holding it like this.
She reaches out to take it expectantly.
Someone is playing a very big game and wants to get our attention, which you guys probably already knew that. But I don't know. Someone stayed around and made sure that we would see them.
She looks back up at the window again. She puts the bottle in her, like, inside jacket pocket. Stay. She blurs into the house. You hear this sound as the smoke, which is slowly moving out the window, just billows up and away. There's like a few seconds of silence before she zooms back to place in front of you guys. I need to speak to Fortress, and you three need to stay out of trouble for 24 hours. Can you do that?
Yes. I think if we put an honest effort into it, just maybe we could.
Wonderful. She looks back to the craters, and then back at you, BB. She looks at the window and to the light pole, and you see the workings of a lightning-fast mind. Just knowing what happened.
Yeah, I thought that the best way to get rid of the smoke and the person was to push them out the window. They were gone when I got through the smoke to the window, but I stopped myself somehow. I mean, not somehow. I shot the ground, but...
May I? She gestures towards your hands.
For my hands? Oh, yeah, I guess.
For you to hold them out. Yeah. She looks at your fingers. Doesn't touch, she just looks. Good instinct.
I appreciate that.
I don't want to hear about you for a day. One day.
I don't want to hear about us for a day, honestly.
Your lucky Wi-Fi called me first. She goes.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, let's go get in more trouble. By which I mean, let's go find Snapshot and Porter and Link.
Okay.
Did we text him?
I think we were in the middle, and then Quickstep showed up.
Yeah.
Like, I think the text isn't sent, so Harriman will just go.
Yeah, she got there fast. So also, it's worth noting that as she zooms away, you hear her stop in the middle, kind of standing in the middle of the neighborhood as people are starting to come out of their houses and look. She goes, "Don't you all have studying to do?" And everyone just scurries away back into their houses as she just stands there and watches everyone scatter. Then she leaves.
Yeah, makes sense why Troubleshooter is on her team.
So as for texts sent.
Yes.
First on the menu, Porter and Link.
First on the menu, Porter and Link via Joe.
Okay.
And then
he just asks for a time frame.
I'll ask Monarch for Snapshot's number, which, oh god, you just see Harriman sweating. And then ask Backtrack if it's cool if we have a little party soon at his place. to fill him in on stuff.
Okay, so he'll agree to that. He tells you that he's back home now, and that he doesn't really have anything planned. He and the gang are like not really doing much. He is resting. Loney and Hecate are sort of doing their own thing today. They're coming in and out to check on him, but for the most part, they're kind of having independent, just sort of physical training that they're doing for the day. But that he's free to talk.
Yeah,
pretty much whenever.
So through all that, coordinate a time to go have everyone meet there.
And Monarch does give you Snapshot's number with a very clear winking emoji.
Hermione doesn't save the number to her phone contacts. Just shows the number to someone else.
We don't know them. Joe, do you know them?
You might. It's up to you.
I will I will text Snapshot and be like, hey, this is Silhouette. I got your number from Hermione. We would really like your help with something we have some questions about. Would you be able to meet us at Backtrack's house, right? At X time.
The first thing that you get back is like, oh, like with an exclamation point. And then a sort of like, sure, question mark. She tells you that she is training with Diamond Soul until, I'm going to say like 4 o'clock. So a couple hours. If you guys want to like skip to there when everybody convenes, or is there anything that you want to do from this moment?
Should we talk to Pantheon before that, or no? Just let it be.
Let's wait. Have I heard from Wi-Fi about Asher yet, Detective Asher? Okay.
Oof.
Can I text her and just say check it in?
Yeah.
Okay.
She says, believe it or not, digging up dirt on a federal agent may just take more than a few days.
Damn.
Well, I'll respond with, well, you're just so quick. I expected a shorter turnaround, but, you know, we do what we must.
Okay.
And then a gif of someone going.
I like the idea that like superheroes are sending gifts to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we're in college, so of course.
So a few hours later, you guys head to Team Blackout's house. And Backtrack opens the door, and he's just like in his pajamas. He looks okay. He's fine. He looks maybe a little antsy. But his hair is still done, and he's still like trying to be presentable to the best of his ability. But you see the strain.
Mm-hmm.
There is a definite difference in his demeanor where the amount of sure of himself that he usually puts forward looks a little more forced at this moment.
Mm.
And as he opens the door, you can see the house inside. He kind of gestures, come on. The other guys are on their way. You see Porter and Link in front of you. He goes, are we late? I don't think we're late.
No, you're right on time. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too. What's going on? You look like
I fell out of a second-story building. Yeah.
Wow, that's specific.
Oh god.
Link is like, you are getting into something, aren't you?
I mean, aren't we just always, unfortunately, much to our chagrin and the chagrin of those around us.
Yeah, you really missed something. Oh god. Hermione at this point has like redone her hair and reapplied her makeup and shit in the time before.
Well, I'm very excited to hear everything. Backtrack is like, yeah, please, come on, more the merrier. Come on, everybody in. I'll make something. I haven't been in this house for a few days. I don't really know.
I can do it if you want. You don't have to.
I'm good. It's cool. And as he starts to close the door, you hear, wait, hold on, hold the door. As he does, he opens the door again, and you see this, just like, she's just sweating as this, she's kind of short, right? She's kind of a short lady.
Yeah.
In this, like, powder blue, like, pantsuit with a little collar and a belt. And she has, like, a black, sort of long cotton coat over it that's flowing out behind her as she runs up to you guys. Dark skin, big eyelashes. She's wearing hijab. And as she runs forward, she stops in front of the door and she leans up against the door frame. Just, I made it. Hi. Backtrack just kind of laughs. He's like, hey, Snap.
Are you okay?
Yeah, no, I came from the library. Hi. It's nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you. I'm BB.
I'm Snapshot. She takes your hand and shakes it very vigorously.
We're both sweating immensely.
Yeah, sorry about
No, I mean,
does somebody need help?
Oh,
I mean, I
said
can't
help. Yeah, no, hey, I texted you. Yeah, I guess maybe help was the wrong word, but we do need your help.
This kind of looks like is this a secret meeting?
No.
Am I at a secret meeting?
No, you're not at a secret meeting. It's fine. We just, like, we're all just hanging out, and we're gonna figure out some weird stuff that's been going on.
Oh. All right. Will we get in trouble for this?
No.
Okay.
Hi, Snapshot. I'm gonna go help backtrack. Good to see you again. I'm gonna help.
Yeah.
You backtrack. Make the thing. Okay. Goodbye.
Hermione, are you sweating?
Should I come in?
It's just a sweaty day.
Yeah, come in.
I feel like maybe this is becoming awkward.
No.
Okay. All right. She kind of like shakes herself off and she walks through the door. And Backtrack starts bringing out like semi-poorly made lemonade on his part. He just sort of puts more sugar in at the last minute and is like, so what's this all about? I take it you went to the house.
Yes.
Yeah, we went to the house. We went to the house with Baby Lonnie, and sorry, I'm a little dazed right now.
Snapshot's just watching you speak
with Baby, and when we got there, the lock was like busted as if it had been burned or melted in some way to the front door. So we had Joe go inside, all invisible like, and she cleared the first floor, went up to the second floor. We followed after her. We went into the room that Backtrack you said that the Dr. Guest was probably looking at, and we found some ash on the windowsill in like a handprint shape, and this newspaper clipping, and I showed them the newspaper clipping. And then while we were kind of looking at that and going over it, Baby heard something outside in the hall. We went into an adjoining room, saw an assassin on a windowsill. They ejected black smoke, and I pushed them out of the window.
Oh, gosh.
By which I mean I tried to push them out of the window, but they were gone, and I fell down and then stopped my fall.
Yeah, BB has like another power, kind of, which is
I
cool.
can give people concussions now, which is marginally better than shooting them.
Well, you avoided one yourself, so I call it a win. Wow. Secret assassins, huh? This is...
Assassin.
I kind of hate this.
It kind of sucks hard.
Imagine how we feel, because it's directed at us.
Snapshot's just like looking, and she goes, I have a question.
Shoot.
What
Oh,
house?
Our house, like the house we're supposed to live in.
Are you talking about the Dr. Guest? What's going on here?
Well, that's the question, isn't it?
Backtrack looks to you guys as if to ask, like, are we telling everyone everything?
Yeah. Heroin will like grit her teeth and look and be like, basically, we just need your help, Link and Snapshot, to sort of document what we've seen. So when if Nova asks what's up, beyond just scolding us, we can show them.
Link crosses their arms and goes, so what I'm getting here is that you would like for me to link Snapshot with someone so that we can have a tangible representation of some of these things that you've seen, so that you can do something with that information.
Pretty much.
A lot of blanks. A lot of blanks.
I
What do you mean?
strictly speaking, we weren't supposed to be investigating the fire, and then we did, and then we got in trouble for it. But then, now this is a secret, then we were told to on the down low, and that's why we went to the house that was supposed to be ours, and this whole thing just keeps spiraling and spiraling. And now we're in trouble again, probably, possibly. I don't know.
Snapshot looks so incredibly nervous. She's like, what did I just walk into? I don't know if I should be here.
I mean, you don't have to. It would just potentially be helpful for us. Potentially.
I mean, I guess I would like to know what happened that night. It was pretty scary, but... Oh, actually, do you guys want a picture of some of the weird things I saw that night?
Oh my god.
I mean,
yes, please.
I'd have to run and get it, but oh, well, actually, no, I don't. I can just... You see, so actually, you know this better than I do. How does her power actually work? Does she need like a piece of paper?
Yeah, she just needs something. It could be smooth enough and then like solid.
So I imagine she has a notebook full of like white paper.
Like a sketchbook or something.
Yeah. So she pulls that out. And what does it look like when she does it?
I don't know. I didn't think about this.
Because I was thinking maybe her eyes turn into like this, like a burning orange ring around her irises, and then she blinks and you hear this like noise, and the paper in front of her like starts to steam, like something just pressed onto it.
That's sick.
You almost hear like a
that.
shutter sound, and as the steam kind of like rises up, you see this picture of kind of the corner of Menagerie's house, and you see the sort of bottom/back half of one of the shadow figures that you had seen running around the corner.
Oh my god.
Cool.
It's very weird. I kind of thought it was you when I saw, but then I saw you, so guess it wasn't you. I can't say that I'm not curious, but I also can't say that I don't want to stay out of it. But, you know, a secret assassin in the window. This sounds like we should tell people who are older and smarter than us.
Well, Quickstep, thanks to Wi-Fi, Quickstep already knows and is supposedly talking to Fortress as we speak. So there's that. And she has a sample of the smoke that the assailant unleashed. So there's something there too. Knowing her, she could probably analyze it.
Okay.
I mean, there's also the thing of our teachers who should know, they do know. If they didn't know, like, that this was happening, I just feel like they know. They can't not know.
So you're just giving them... You're giving them proof, right? I'm helping you give them evidence of what happened so they can help.
Yeah, like...
None of you guys have...
Documentation.
Yeah.
Okay.
None of you guys did what we have been doing, you know? There's... not to sound like a dick, but, you know, did you guys come across any, I guess we're calling him an assassin now. Joe's kind of getting, like, a little frustrated at this point. You know, black smoke. I've been breathing in a lot of smoke lately. And, you know, none of it has been, at my will. So, you know, we just really need some, like, help from other very talented people with powers to make sure that, you know, maybe if we do die, the three of us, maybe there's a reason, you know? I'd like for, like, my name to be in print when they publish that I've died in the newspaper.
I'll say ditto to that.
Porter has been standing through most of this. And as you get more and more flustered and you finish what you're saying, he's kind of like seething. Porter sits down next to you. And he just smiles, his rosy smile, and he says, "Hey, you had me at help."
It's over. Goodbye. I must go.
I appreciate that, Porter. So,
Thank you, Porter.
Link goes, "This is all very interesting. I mean, I'm happy to provide help here." He looks. They look to Snapshot. He's like, "Yeah. This sounds like you guys are really going through it."
2 weeks, man. If the first 2 weeks are like this, what? You know?
Well, let's try it out. I'm ready. She flips to the next page of her book. So Link goes, Who am I linking here?"
Silhouette. Does anyone want to volunteer?
I mean, I'll do it. I don't care. It's fine.
you sure?
We all yeah.
I can only link 2 people at a time. So
Okay, wait, out of character. Who are we linking with who? Are we linking one of us with Snapshot?
Yes.
So that she can print the image.
Yes.
Okay. Well then, can we only do one person? I would say probably. Oh, we can't.
one at a time.
One at a time. Okay. Well then, I was gonna say like probably. Oh well, like. Okay, well I was the first one in, so I feel like I'd have a clearer image. So
You probably would.
I'll volunteer for that then. Yeah. I'll do it. I'll do it.
So you want the image that Snapshot creates to be of the person.
Yes.
Okay.
Of the
So-
is that what we're all wanting?
Well, how many can she do? Like how what are their limits, I guess? Because
Oh yeah.
if we can get multiple images of different things, I think that would be ideal. But like the actual assailant is one of the more important ones.
Link kind of considers for a moment and goes, well, if I continue to link one person with various other people over a long period of time, that person does start to feel some fatigue. There could be some negative psychic effects on Snapshot, specifically if we keep linking different people to Snapshot. So I feel like I can really only link probably 3 times before we'll have to do this again another time.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now, every individual person, I don't know what are the boundaries of your Snapshot goes. Oh, no, I don't have boundaries as far as like how many images I can make. I can freeze frame on whichever ones you want. I'm not worried about it. As many as I have paper, right?
Mm-hmm.
So realistically, Silhouette could just be thinking long enough on specific images, long enough for Snapshot to do her thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
What if? Okay, so then in that case, it should probably be. What if it's like the point of view of the house, like from that like window to like Menagerie's house to show that like that's where we are, so it doesn't look like we made it up or something, right? Does that not seem necessary?
Again, I say if we take it to Fortress, you can tell if we're telling the truth. So.
I guess so, yeah. Okay, well then, probably the person, and then
probably the like soot on the windowsill with the piece of paper.
Yeah.
Okay.
With the handprints is another good one.
Yeah.
We might have I think we took a shot of that on someone's phone though as well.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess just the person then?
So Link looks to you, Silhouette, and goes, okay, you ready? I'm going to need you to focus on exactly what you want to see. Otherwise, she'll get everything.
Yeah. So
maybe a little flip book of like the person with the mechanism releasing the smoke too. Just like a little like emphasis on that also.
Yeah. So the person releasing the smoke.
And then just like a whole full body of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after a couple minutes, Snapshot produces 2 images. One is, and they're like full color, like HD images too, right? So
That's
like,
cool.
I was not expecting that, but that's awesome.
she produces a clear image of your memory of standing in that door frame and looking at this figure in their like black sort of plated, almost Kevlar like in places, and then in other places like plastic like armor, with their like round, smooth, helmeted head with that black screen across their face, with their head half turned toward you in that just cruel looking smirk. You see that image. And then the second image that you give for this moment is of them like hitting the button and the smoke beginning to pour out. So you have those 2.
Sick.
Is that all that Silhouette is giving?
Yeah, I don't know if there's... I'm trying to think of, like, before we actually went into the house.
We didn't get a picture of the busted lock. But, I mean, we could always just physically take them there and show them that.
That's true.
I guess so.
Moth, no.
I was almost about to clap it, but then I was like, right next to the microphone, not the
Yeah.
best idea.
I mean, we could do like Oh, we could do shots of in the forest because the only other person who was there with us was Helix.
That's
And
very
what they
true.
looked like in the forest as we were fighting them. I could do that one since I had more of an aerial view at the time.
Yeah.
So, just to speed things along, let's just get a solid list of everything that each individual person wants a picture of, and then somebody can like write it down inventory wise of the images that you guys have.
So we have 2 of the assailant, 1 wide, 1 close up, and then maybe a couple of the shadow creatures, like from my view in the forest.
Mhm.
Maybe 1 of when Joe was alone getting a drink, maybe before it switches over to me, of like the shadow, because you saw a shadow creature then, and that's why you were like, oh god, it's time to not drink. So maybe 1 of those. I don't know if there's anything else. I mean, maybe one's from Backtrack if he's willing, like what he saw when he looked backwards.
Remember, you only get 3 people.
Yeah. So if Backtrack is willing, a couple from him. So that's me, Silhouette, and him is 3.
Okay. So if you guys can just make note of which images you have when that moment comes up.
Yeah.
That you're going to give them to someone. If that is what you choose to do, then we'll have that ready. And so this, all the considering and the actual doing of it and the linking, you guys are here for about an hour doing this.
I forgot what the second photo is that I got. I got one.
Full body and then close up of the assailant, and then you had the
With the smoke happening.
Oh yeah.
smoke happening.
Yeah. Okay. Are we good to move on? Okay. So after all this happens, you have this nice stack of kind of cardstock paper. And as she pulls them out on their kind of serrated edges, or not serrated, is that the right word? Perforated. Serrated paper. Very dangerous. Yeah, the perforated. She pulls them out very carefully and gives them to you, and she goes, I mean, I really hope this helps. Just looking at it is kind of terrifying. You guys really have not had the best week. I've just been training. Jeez.
Yeah, it's...
Sorry, that was probably not the most helpful thing to say.
No, it's okay.
No, yeah, you deserve to not... No one should have to go through what we're going through right now. It's cool. Don't worry about it.
I guess that's why I'm helping.
Yeah, that's exactly why we needed your help.
So I imagine you don't want me to tell anyone about this.
Yeah.
No, especially not the Dr. Guest thing.
Yeah.
Don't worry about him. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Cool.
Yeah.
I guess I'm gonna go then.
You don't want to stay and hang out?
I mean,
Hermone shoots you a look.
I would, I guess, but
like
I
come
don't
on,
wanna
like
seem
backtrack.
suspicious.
You don't have any chips for like our guests?
I'm sure. I guess.
Thank you.
I'd have to not take Loney's ones. Don't you people have training? Jeez, all right. And
that's the thing, isn't it? We actually don't. Pantheon told us not to. Pantheon told us to do this, essentially. Don't tell her that we told you that. I told her. Nope.
You know, I'm just living in a state of assuming I'm not telling anyone anything at this point, which is fine. It's fine. He goes and he just starts like getting chips and things. So you guys, I mean, unless there's anything else that you guys do today, you guys can hang out here for a while.
Oh, I hate you so much. Hermone, now like shifting out of like focused mission mode is just like making a point to sit as far away from Snapshot without it being like weird, and just like really focusing more on backtrack, like pointedly. Yeah. And every time Silhouette makes eye contact with Haramon is like,
There's a point during the night where everyone's kind of hanging out where I think you kind of go to the kitchen to maybe refill your drink or something, or to get away, and Backtrack is in there, and he sees you and he goes, I'm sure that I thanked you already. For what you did. They told me that you, I should probably.
oh yeah, you
And
stole
he
my
reaches,
shit.
he reaches. Yeah, I should probably give this back. Into his shirt where the necklace is tucked in, and he pulls it out and unclasps it and gives it back to you. He goes, What is that exactly?
Oh, so in my culture, these are called star charms. Very original, I know. And they're little constellations, and she'll do the same thing that she did with Baby Loney, and will like take him to a window and try to like pinpoint where in the sky it is if it's not visible. Each constellation has a little meaning set to it, and this one is protection. And in my family, when one of us is sick, we'll put it on wherever the part of the body needs help, and sing a little song.
Is that what that is?
Oh, you remember? Cool.
This melody stuck in my head, but I'd never heard it before. I thought I was losing my
Comas
mind.
are weird. I don't understand how they work. And yeah, honestly,
Comas, how do they work?
what's the deal with being
comas.
in a coma? Yeah. I mean, she'll hold it up to him again. I mean, now that I look at it, it looks pretty good on you. I mean, gold is your color. And I can get a billion of these when I go home. So if you're hanging out with us, you should probably take it back, because
He closes your hand on it. He's like, I think you've given me enough at this point. But God, I'm terrible at this. Look, I don't get close to a lot of people. That's not really I don't know what I'm trying to say. The point is, I'm not very good at this, or really at knowing what I want. I just kind of do things. And I've been thinking about what you said, and I don't regret what I did or what we did. It was the right thing to do. I would do it again and again and again. Maybe smarter and better, more planned out, but I would do it again. And I don't know. I don't want to make a weird thing about this, about like give and take and who owes who what, but if you ever need or want anything from me,
you see, you just made it weird by saying that, though. You created the energy by not wanting to create the energy.
Right. Yeah. See, I don't really need to recover physically here. I just need to recover my stuff, you know? My stuff is all
Your brain
fucked
got
right
a little
now.
scrambled right in there.
I don't like this. I'm supposed to be able to light up a room with my incredibly charming smile. I'm broken.
I mean, I think you've already recovered that, but
Maybe you didn't save my life after all. God, unfortunate. It'll come back, though. It'll come back. And when it does, it will.
When it does, you call me.
For a moment, that the color kind of comes back to him, and he almost seems that like forced element turns more natural, and he just kind of drops his shoulders and laughs a little bit. He goes, "Now there's a promise I can keep." So you guys spend as long as you want here, eventually finding yourselves back to your house. The only correspondence that you get from anyone else that night is really when Pantheon acknowledges that she did, in fact, manage to get a meeting with Dr. Guest. She says that he wants to meet you guys tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. She says to be on time, that is imperative with him to meet in his office.
I want to find out if this guy's actually a doctor. Because, like, that's a title, you know?
Yeah, what's
you
that
want to find out if
PhD?
he's actually a doctor?
Yeah, what's his PhD in? Being creepy?
Ooh.
Big bird.
So the next morning, you guys wake up however early you want to and prepare for your meeting with Dr. Guest. So is there anything that you guys do in the morning time to prepare for this meeting, or do you guys just kind of wake up and head there?
I think we've done pretty much all the preparing we can do.
Right.
I can't imagine what piece of information or evidence we don't have at this point.
Yeah, if we bring all the pictures and stuff, if not to show him and Pantheon, then to maybe see if Pantheon wants to show Fortress them. Like, I think we should bring what we just did yesterday.
Is
For
the note that was left on the newspaper printing, is the newspaper the Amberley newspaper?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to confirm that. Okay. Tight.
Okay. So you guys head back toward the administrative building, and it is a Friday morning, so it's pretty busy. People are, going to classes and going to administration, and there's like lines and things. So you have to kind of go up to the desk and say that you have an appointment.
Hey, we have an appointment with Dr. Guest at 10 a.m.
The guy behind the counter is kind of like that's not something he's used to hearing people say. It's like, oh, yeah, I have that here. Go ahead. His office is second floor, left side.
Have a nice day. And then we go.
So you head upstairs, down the hallway,
Exactly.
and you follow the left hallway down all the way to the end, the last door on the left. And you see that there is, in fact, a little sign engraved on the door that says Dr. Guest.
Cool.
Tight. Knock, knock.
You knock on the door, and it opens, and Pantheon is there. And she looks you guys over, and she's like, "Glad to see you guys made it. You doing all right?"
No. No.
We're okay.
We're okay, but we're not all right, if you know what I mean.
There's
Tell
some
us
buzz from the Nova teams about what happened yesterday. A lot of people heard the commotion. Quick Step rushing over there to deal with things. I haven't had much of an opportunity to talk too much in depth with her yet, but there is a meeting scheduled, just so you know. There will be conversations about this.
Yeah, I kind of assumed there would be. But that's not fully what this conversation is about, is it? I mean, we're here to meet Dr. Guest himself.
I just want you to I just want you to meet him, to air out any concerns that you have. In the meantime, on the subject of concerns, Ooh, sirens.
Hold for sirens.
Yeah, hold for sirens.
That's concerning.
That does feel like an omen, doesn't it? Oh,
Yeah.
God. So she goes, on the subject of concerns regarding those aforementioned conversations and like all of that stuff, try not to worry too much about it. I'll handle it as best as I can. I set you guys out to do this, and as far as I can tell, you guys did a good job.
Oh yeah, we came prepared. We have pictures, a slideshow, if you will.
When this meeting is done, I'll be around. I have some things to discuss with Fortress, and then I'll meet you guys back here. I have something special planned for tonight. We're gonna get back to training in a bit different way tonight. So
Going to
We'll talk
Dave
more
and
about it.
Buster's.
we'll
Chuck
talk
E.
more about it
Cheese,
then.
baby.
Oh my god, Chuck E. Cheese is going bankrupt. Or they
I
did
mean-
go bankrupt.
I-
They're closing.
Side note, I saw a hilarious article that says Chuck E. Cheese files for bankruptcy, but it's spelled as 3 separate words.
God.
That's one of my favorite news articles of all time. News article titles of all time.
She
Anyway,
opens the
superheroes.
door. She opens the door wider. She goes, see you guys in a bit. And she heads down the hallway, presumably to go talk to Fortress.
Cool.
Hey, okay. Well, Dr. Guest, I'm BB. My superhero name's Bang Bang.
Oh, okay, so you're just, you go inside. All right.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're not inside? I thought we were in the room.
No, this
Yeah,
was
I thought we were
outside the
in-
office.
Oh, okay.
She
sorry.
opened the door because she was in there, and then she left, so you guys hadn't gone
Oh.
in yet.
Oh.
Yeah.
All
I was
right,
confused. Okay.
we enter
Going-
all
yeah.
together, all at once. We squeeze through.
So you step inside this kind of modest-sized office. There is a large bookshelf on one side with various texts and things on it. There's a window behind that is currently in the shaded mode. The desk is this big, like, old-style, almost antique-looking mahogany desk that he has.
He has taste. Okay.
And
okay.
sitting at the chair at this desk is Dr. Guest in his usual black suit, his long, skinny arms and pale hands just sort of folded on the desk in front of him. His long, not greasy hair, long, straight black hair is kind of parted in front of his face. And those big yellow eyes that he has are just sort of that neutral expression looking at you. And
Nice.
as you step inside,
Can I do a perception check for a doctorate?
sure.
That's a success. 1 out of 1.
Hell yeah.
What on? None is displayed in the room.
BB goes up to Dr. Gus and is like, bitch, you a doctor or what?
Where's that piece of paper at? Show it to us.
Where you go to school? You go here?
Do you even go here?
As you step inside, he takes a hand up and gestures to the 3 seats in front of the desk. And he goes, please, feel free to take a seat.
Oh, he's British? He's just British? You could have said that from the jump. I would have gotten it. That's just the vibe.
Sits down.
I'll sit down as well.
Close the door behind you, would you? Please.
I get back up. I close the door. I sit back down.
He folds his hands on the table again. Well, I've certainly heard a lot about the 3 of you over the past couple of weeks. Well, longer, really. Pantheon tells me that you have some concerns.
Yeah, it's just kind of like you're just always around when bad things happen.
Right out the gate.
No one seems. to be willing to tell us what you do at this school. I don't know if you actually have a doctorate or not. We just kind of want to know what the haps is, because we've dug up a lot of... Are we going... Okay, out of character. We would have discussed this prior. Are we going full in and showing him all the information that we have about him?
Not like this.
Yeah, Joe's embarrassed.
Look,
Everyone is just
BB's
like,
got to get
"Oh
down to
my God."
business. We're not wasting any time.
hot-faced.
I can tell that my teammates are embarrassed by my directness and forthrightness and inability to be careful. But I'm exhausted. There's been too much physical and emotional trauma that's happened to us over the past 3 weeks, and I just want to know what the hell's going on.
Well, I do rather appreciate the directness. And I would be loath to contribute to your overall negative emotional state. The last thing I want is for your experiences at this institution to be negative ones. And I do understand the sort of reputation that I carry, my presence carries on this campus, and while there's not much I can really do about that, I can assure you that my role at this school requires me to be around, as you said. I am not particularly at liberty to discuss the exact nature of my role. That is for Fortress to decide. That being said, the nature of my abilities and what it is exactly that I do, Pantheon knows, and if she had a mind to tell you, I couldn't stop her if I wanted to. I imagine she will eventually. But for the time being, know this. My role here is that of an observer. I seem to be everywhere and see things because that is my charge. I take stock of what is, so that I may try to accurately prepare this institution for what could be.
Makes sense.
As for the unfortunate turn of events surrounding the boy, Backtrack, that was something that I did not foresee. His power is quite unique. I've never encountered anyone with his particular abilities before. I was there that night of the fire. I saw it, and I came as soon as I saw the smoke. When I arrived, I saw that those in attendance were utilizing their skills to their best potential. Things were more or less under control, and my presence would only serve to exacerbate matters. And so I took on my usual role as an observer to report on what I had seen. From what I understand, in the past day, you've seen the full extent of what it is that I had seen.
Well, we saw some stuff. I don't know if it was the full extent, but I think we saw the person you saw in that window across the street.
I'm not so sure.
Oh, well, never mind. Then I didn't say that. I sorry, I was confused about where the conversation was going.
I mean, what did you see? Because Backtrack made it seem like you got a good long look.
Let me make one thing perfectly clear. You may not like it, but the counsel I keep on what I do and do not see within the boundaries of my role on this campus is not at the discretion of its students to know. My findings are for Fortress, and should she decree, for the other instructors as well. I report on what I see when I think it necessary, but my particular abilities pose a certain risk should I divulge too much.
Sure. And hello, by the way. It's great meeting you finally. Obviously you understand how most students see you. So, I'm sorry if I ever had any assumptions. But, with all due respect, we're being put in danger from you not directly helping us, or maybe you are helping, I don't know, and we just don't see it, but we are also being put in direct danger from not knowing what you know about something that's directly affecting us.
It seems like every time we ask questions, we just get told, you don't get to know that. That's for someone else to know. And it's like, I don't even know what the point is of us being here if we can't get some questions answered. It's great to meet you, I guess, and to know that you aren't just some ghost that hangs around the school, and that you're a person who has a British accent. But I just jumped out a window to try to protect my friends, and no one else seems to be willing to protect us. So
He leans back in his chair. He sort of looks distantly at the ceiling for a moment. He furrows his brows. And then for the first time since you've been here, you see him smile. It's kind of unsettling.
Ew.
yeah, that sucks. I don't like it.
He leans back forward again and he goes, You're not mistaken that my attention has been somewhat focused in your direction since you have been here. There is a reason for that. And while I do have a particular oath and a duty to uphold my role at this school in the degree that I always have, it is because of that role, because of the abilities I possess, that I may see a change in the wind. Very well. I will divulge the nature of my position here.
Shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
It's going to come out eventually, one way or another. And events are beginning to unfold. The nature of my ability is something of a passive telepathy. I can't see your thoughts or your memories, so don't fear in that regard. What I do absorb is a passive sort of understanding of the choices one might make based on those that they have already made. A layman might say that I can see the potentialities of the future. Those who know a little better know that such things are not possible. I see potentialities, things that may be, things on a sliding scale of likelihood. Some things stand out more than others. For the most part, I try to guide away from the most dangerous outcomes when they become more likely than others. And I have been allowed to keep my own counsel on what that entails these past years. You understand that I can't simply go around telling everyone what could be and what will be. No matter how grisly, events must be allowed to unfold as they will. Why my attention is focused on you, or has been up until this point, is not something I can tell you.
So, let me get this straight. Your job is essentially to profile everyone in the school all the time to see, or at least try to figure out and see potential events that could happen or not happen.
Put simply, yes.
So you're like a walking personality quiz.
In a sense. The nature of why events unfold as they do remains a mystery. And I can assure you that I have no concept of the true direction of your futures and what is to come. The simple fact remains, the future is set, but not in stone like so many would have you believe. No, it's set rather more like a dinner table, a grand meal set before us all. And though we may each of us at one time or another serve ourselves with portions suitable to our own individual appetites, in the end, there will be nothing left, just the same.
Out of character, didn't Backtrack see Dr. Guest in the forest?
Yes.
Yeah. He said he materialized out of the forest, essentially, and was looking at the house, past the burning house at our house.
Can we ask him about that? I don't want to ask. All right, so like dinner plates. I mean, I appreciate you telling us. And like obviously if you don't want us to tell other students about your powers, like we don't have to do that.
I'll do no such thing.
You know, but like would there be okay, so I guess you said you can't help us. You can't help us? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that your futures remain a mystery to me.
I see.
Your place in events that may be yet to come.
So obviously, you like know stuff about us.
Do you understand, Silhouette, why I so rarely speak?
No.
I'll take a crack. It's so you don't interfere in our projected realities or whatever.
What? I am in a unique position to see potential outcomes, and therefore to influence them should I get in their way. I have a responsibility. You said that my job is to profile, to see what may be and act accordingly, but my duty is to not interfere. to allow events to unfold and act only when it becomes absolutely necessary, when all signs point to nothing but the greatest harm.
So, I mean, since you said you liked directness, you know, when we talked to Backtrack, he did say that he saw you in the forest that we were in during the fire. And it just kind of irks me.
I've told you already, I arrived when I saw the smoke.
In the forest, though?
Well, I kept out of sight. As I said, I make a point not to interfere.
But you were looking across the street at the house beyond the burning house, right? That's at least what Backtrack told us.
Yes.
So what did you see?
I saw the source of the problem. I saw a figure there. One who I believed could very well have been controlling the fire. And I'm already taking a great risk in telling you this much.
Honestly, you don't have to. If it's at Fortress's discretion, then we'll go talk to Fortress. I mean, Pantheon told us she wants to talk to us already. I don't.
Events are more clouded than I might like. As I said, events are unfolding. Things are changing rapidly, and I must adapt. So must we all. But rest assured, Fortress and the others are well aware, as much as I am. And as much as I am aware that you three may just get involved no matter what anyone tells you to do. And it is only for this reason and this reason alone that I have told you what I have. You entered the house, did you not? And you found something. I will not ask you to show me what you found, and I won't ask you to show anyone else, but you're playing the game now. You just need to realize that it isn't one.
I don't think any of us think this is a game at this point. After almost dying twice in 2 weeks, this doesn't seem like anything fun to me.
Then unless you have any further questions, I have spoken my piece. And I am happy to have met you. Truly.
Same here. I mean, glad to know that, like, when we see you around, it won't be like, ooh, why is he here? Ooh. It'll be more of like, hey, how's it going? Sort of energy.
He stands up, moves over to the bookshelf, takes out this deep, sort of blood-red, leather-bound book, and opens up the binding, sits back down, goes into a drawer and removes an old-fashioned quill and ink, and begins writing in the book.
Wow.
He doesn't seem to be really acknowledging you guys at all anymore.
All right, gang.
Sick.
Let's go.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thanks a bunch.
Yep, thank you. Dr. Guest.
Thank you, Dr. Guest, PhD.
Thank you, Doctor.
So you guys step out of the office, close the door behind you, and find Pantheon waiting for you. Well,
It's not what I thought it was going to be, but, I guess I'm glad we had this opportunity to talk to him.
I guess I'm glad that we know he's not an omen of death. And we kind of know what his position is at the school.
her expression actually looks like this, and she's, wait, did he tell you?
Yeah, unless he was lying.
He told you what he does?
Not all of it, but he told us his general role here.
Right. Well, good. That's good to hear. Look, I want to hear everything about what you found up until this point. I want to know if there's enough material for me to hand this off to Fortress so we can put this all behind us if we can. So you guys can tell me everything you want to tell me on the way. Let's go get some food. I want to tell you what we're going to be doing tonight.
Oh my god, okay.
She keeps buying us food. This is the best. This is the best outcome.
Okay. So you guys head either down to the food court or maybe just back out to a restaurant. She'll usually default. I like the idea of kind of that like classic sitcom or even superhero style where you guys have a spot where you always go. And I think Ship Shake is that spot.
Fuck yeah.
And so
Tight.
you guys head back there and fill her in on what more accurately for me, I think it'll be easier to know what details do you leave out, if any.
Do we have any reason to leave anything out, really?
I don't
think so.
No, I mean, I won't say she's given us a super firm reason to trust her, but I don't know why this is out of character. I don't know why I'm speaking in the accent still. Yeah, I think we just show her everything. There's not necessarily a reason not to.
And then, like, after we do all of that, Haramon will take a minute and be like, not that anyone would, but have any of you city slickers ever heard of and like this gas situation? The like none of it is familiar to anyone, and she'll also look at Pantheon when like just like off the dome.
I mean, I've seen sleeping agents before. I'm not a chemist, so I couldn't tell you if it was something specific. Combining a sleeping agent with an obscuring agent is unique, for sure. That I'm not going to assume anything, but I'm also not going to rule anything out. But this is really not my my area.
Is Quickstep doing anything with the sample I gave her?
She's analyzing.
I do want that water bottle back if possible.
I'll bring it up.
Thanks.
I think I might have seen that gas before. I worked under my mom for a long period of time, training. She's a scientist, and in our training sessions, they would use that smoke sometimes. That's right,
smoke.
Ian, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That smoke. And I guess while we're on the subject, I had a dream a few nights ago about one of those training sessions, and Detective Asher was in it.
You dreamed?
No, she was like a part of the military organization that my mom worked under.
For sure.
Well, I mean, it was a dream, but it felt way more like a memory. I'm sure it was a memory, and she was there. I'd seen her before.
Great.
Is Detective Asher still here?
No. She left a card, though.
Well, that's something.
This is very disturbing. I mean, with that information, with the armor on this figure, the efficiency, it reads like government, but I don't know what Alma would want here, what this person was doing there. And if they wanted to take the evidence and leave, by all accounts, they should have. It sounds like they were waiting for you. Or for someone.
They were
We're definitely waiting
waiting
for
for
us.
us.
Look, you guys have done really excellent work, and an argument can be made that this was sort of a foolish choice on my part. You guys were going off on your own, and I wanted to make a point, make a lesson of it, give you the week to see what you could do, and if things went wrong, that would have been the lesson. And if things went right, good for you. And frankly, things seem to have gone well. You've gone above and beyond my expectations. And frankly, my expectations have been high. You three are incredibly unique, and I know that's such a stupid thing to say. Everyone is unique, but the backgrounds that you bring to the table here, the skills that you have, and the way that you're ready to use them, you all have the potential to be really powerful heroes in your own right, together or otherwise. That being said, I think it's unfair to you to continue this way, and I think we should get back to maybe a little more traditional model. I'm not ready to abandon this just yet. I did tell you you had the week. But we can combine the two. You've proven your mettle as investigators, and before that, you really showed me that you have some solid combat chops. We're going to combine the two. Tonight, we're going to visit an old contact, someone who works downtown, an informant of sorts. Owns a club. One where, let's just say, information is freely given to those who earn it. It's a safe environment. There are rules. That being said, it's also not safe at the same time. Not the most respectable clientele that he attracts. I want you to meet me at the rail station. Let's say 8 o'clock tonight. Wear something incognito but comfortable. Dress for a night on the town that you also wouldn't be too terribly encumbered if you had to get into a scrap. You'll figure it out.
You're so confusing. Do you know that?
Yeah, it's been brought up before. But hey, I've been dead for 25 years. Can you blame me?
That's true.
I mean, do you think I give a shit about how you dress? When she looks down at her, just like ripped up jeans and hoodie that she's wearing at the moment. Actually, no, she's not wearing. I think she's just wearing like it's like a t-shirt. Yeah.
Just a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Just a really long t-shirt.
Yeah, it's kind of a big t-shirt.
Just to the knees.
Yeah.
It
Knock
has like
Knock is just cosplaying Pantheon in reality.
She's like, after today, things will go back to normal. We'll hit the ground running with our training and give you the real Moonlight experience. Good?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I also guess. But we'll see you at 8 o'clock.
Come on, it'll be fun. Field trip. Who doesn't like a field trip?
I love field trips.
See you tonight, then. Okay. So you guys finish your meal and head off to spend the rest of your day, however you see fit, preparing for what it is you're going to be doing tonight.
Could we do more teamwork exercises? Meaning doing like combos. I was thinking of one where like BB runs at Joe while she's wearing her skates, and then we kind of like use the momentum of your skates to flip me around and kind of throw me.
Bob, throw me.
Yeah, just to have some more mobility moves.
That'd be very cool.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
So you open the door to that move being something you can use in the future.
Tight. Love it.
You'll probably have to practice it a little bit more before you like perfect it and get to a point where we can use it mechanically. But right now you definitely have the first one.
Tight.
That you did for a combo move.
The big question, obviously, what are the fits?
Oh, yeah.
What are we wearing
Oh,
to
yeah.
this club?
So yeah, so come 8 o'clock, you guys head over to the rail station. What are you wearing?
I hate to keep going backwards, but Haramon will ask BB if she's okay in that time and like check in.
And that's it.
All right. I mean, if there's anything we can be doing actively.
I've spilled enough of my guts all over this school over the past couple days. It's time to keep some of them inside for a little while.
All right, so fits.
So Fitz, pink
The drip.
cowboy hat. No.
I mean, that would slap.
The pink cowboy hat would slap, but it's not inconspicuous. Or it is very conspicuous. I don't know what words are.
I mean, Silhouette has the best idea of straight fashion, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think we
Thank
turn to
you.
you.
Oh, God. Okay. Fuck, I don't even know if the thing I was thinking of was, like, street fashion enough. Are we actually, like...
We
she
could
said
all,
comfortable.
yeah. We could also turn to Monarch
Okay.
because
I know what-
she's got it.
What?
I know what Silhouette's wearing.
What is it?
Okay, so it's something crazy because she did say comfortable, and also we're probably going to be fighting.
Yeah, almost certainly.
So cargo pants, they're black, but they're a little tighter.
Ooh.
It's your formal cargo pants.
Yeah. And then she's wearing that belt that she has that kind of like hangs. And then the shirt she's wearing is like this like striped shirt, except each like stripe is like it's like sequins. So it's like black sequins and then like
Yes.
like
That's fun.
gray. And then she's got a like a separate like have you guys seen those like leg harnesses that are like
Mhm.
their actual bags though?
Yeah.
Okay, she's got one of those, but like it's on her chest. And then she's got a black bucket hat on. And
Oh
she's
my
wearing
God.
and she's wearing black suede roller skates.
The suede.
I also like the idea that she has light up wheels because it's a nightclub.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Vibes. BB is wearing a dark, like probably black jean jacket and black jean pants that are loose with a white button up, and a is it a bolo tie? Is that what those are called?
Yeah.
Yeah, a bolo tie. And like probably suede, like tan suede boots actually as well.
Ooh.
Hell yeah.
Shit. I'm trying to see if I already drew something. No. I drew like alternate outfits for different occasions because I got bored, but none of
Hell
them
yeah.
work. I think Haramon is wearing that like slate blue color in like a long sleeve shirt that's not too loose, not too fitted, to hide like all of her like identifying scars and stuff. And then just some stretchy jeans, I guess, and her handy dandy like multi-pouch belt where she keeps all her things, and she'll bring her what's the word? Collapsible staff. And just some comfy boots and a ponytail. Yeah, she's not confident about it. I think she'll send a picture to Monarch and be like, okay, does this read well for what I'm trying to do?
Yeah. Cool.
I'm adding on, leather fingerless black gloves.
Oh, hell yeah.
Solid. So it is nighttime as you guys head to the rail station for the mag rail. And you see that it is Friday night, so the campus is buzzing and the rail station is pretty crowded with students who are either heading home, just heading into the city, going out for the night. You can see the area where the dorms are. There are people who are starting to have like, not parties, but people are like getting together, when you guys are leaving to be, on your way to the station. You get to the station, you kind of push your way through the crowd. You go up the stairs and get your little cards that let you do what you do. And you find Pantheon. And Pantheon is actually wearing like dark gray skinny jeans and this black loose shirt, but it's like off one shoulder, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And it has maybe like red claw mark designs on the front of it.
I want that in real life.
Her hair is pushed all the way up into like a stylized faux hawk at the moment, and she's actually wearing a little makeup, which I don't think you've seen from her. She's like got some wings going on her eyes at the moment, and she's got like stylish combat boots on. Like she looks like she's going out. She definitely like has the going out vibes. And as she stands there waiting for you guys, she goes, Field trip.
Field trip.
Field trip.
All right, let's go. And she moves with purpose onto the train.
Follow.
There are no seats, really. It's so crowded with everybody going into the city. So you guys are standing there, and she looks like pretty excited to be doing this.
That's cute.
And the train starts going. And the area around Moonlight Academy starts to give way to taller buildings and the lights of Friday night city nightlife. And as you progress through multiple stops, after about like 15, maybe 20 minutes of travel, the buildings grow larger, the crowds outside grow larger, and you start to see these neon lights and signs and billboards, other rail stations moving through these tall buildings, people dressed in all different kinds of fashion moving in and out of these different places outside. There are these sort of drone-like machines that carry ads, like holographic ads on them that move above the crowd with these like three-dimensional images trying to sell people things. And as the train comes to a halt in the downtown district, you guys step off the train into this buzzing din of nightlife, towering buildings all around you with neon light playing off of moonlight reflecting from above. And you make your way sort of into the crowd. Pantheon doesn't really talk that much unless you guys try to talk to her. So I'll give you guys this moment as you're walking down the street if you guys want to like say anything, or if you just kind of go quietly with her.
So you have friends?
Not, well, I mean, yeah, but we're not going to see a friend per se. This, the place that we're going used to be owned by someone a little less reputable. It belonged to a crime family, and the person who owns it now is, shall we say, a very charismatic and interesting sort of fellow. His name is Tommy Decker, but most people just call him Triple. He essentially conned the previous owner out of the place and cleaned up the mess afterward. It used to be something of a superhuman fighting pit, more or less underground, not many rules, and was primarily a front for the goings-on of that particular boss. When Triple took over, he changed things. For a, informant, he does have standards, which I appreciate. He gives out information freely to anyone who can defeat him in the ring. He also is still a host of the superhuman fighting pit, as one might call it, except he makes a very aggressive stance against unnecessary brutality and has a no-tolerance policy for fatality. He does foster different dealings under his roof, but nothing that would garner too much attention. I wouldn't go so far as to call him a criminal, but he does walk a very fine line, and he does live in that world. What we're doing here tonight is gathering information. I want you to experience a place like this, because more often than not, this is where your investigations will take you in the field. You need to know how to interact with people like this.
That makes sense.
As you guys have been talking, you realize that she sort of moved you away from the crowd. And you begin walking down this sort of moonlit alleyway away from all of the lights, and the din is sort of fading just into a background noise now. As you turn a corner and end up on this street of what looks like more like abandoned buildings. It almost looks like a warehouse that she's approaching on this big street corner that is like adjacent to where the real nightlife is happening. And she walks you over to this just decrepit, crumbling warehouse and actually takes you inside under the archway where a doorway used to be. And as you step inside, you're looking around trying to like suss out why the fuck you're here, because she's not telling you. And as she walks you over to what looks like a dugout area where maybe like a swimming pool used to be, she descends the stairway And as she does so, she turns back and she gives you a smirk as her feet disappear through a holographic floor. And as she continues walking, she disappears under it. And it kind of flickers around her form for a moment before she's gone.
That wasn't one of her powers, right?
Definitely
Okay.
not.
Let's go.
Yeah, I follow her down.
Mhm.
As you guys go through the stairway, you're immediately met with just these cool-toned, like literally cool-toned, in blues and purples, occasionally like dark greens, of these bright neon lights that are illuminating this underground sort of area where there are different storefronts, outdoor marketplaces. The people here seem this weird mix of like trendiness and high fashion. You see a lot of people in like snazzy business suits. You also see a lot of people wearing masquerade masks. Many with like feathers, some with some beaks and things like that. And as Pantheon does this, she reaches into her purse and she brings out 3 of these sort of masquerade masks. She says, "You might want to put these on."
I'll put mine on.
Yeah,
Sure.
same.
Cool. So you put on these sort of masquerade masks and feel like maybe you blend in a little bit better. And as she gestures to this area, this sort of underground night market sort of environment, she turns back to you and she says, "Welcome to Sub Terra Neon."
That's the name.
That is the name.
Nice.
This place is, well, I wouldn't exactly call it a secret. It's kind of a snooty, high society thing. If you know where to find it, you know where to find it. And if you know someone who knows it, most likely they're going to want to show it off. It can get a little rough and tumble if you know where to look. And unfortunately, that is where we're going to be looking. And she walks you down the street and you see all of these like carts selling food, and there are yet more of these like holographic advertisements on these billboards between these underground sort of areas. And there are just these different colored lights just spilling out from all of these areas that are almost creating this rainbow neon effect on the ground. It's very strange, like you've entered another realm. As you make your way down the street, you eventually come to a door. The building around it is like slate black, almost reflective surface that's reflecting the light back. And there is a sign above it that says the Triple Thread with a D. She goes, "This would be the place. I assume you guys know how to comport yourselves in a... I don't know, man. Just hang out. Follow my lead." She brings you inside. There is someone just outside, like, watching the door, but it's open. There's no line. There's no, like, bouncer trying to, like, determine if people are old enough to get in or anything like that. People are just coming in. And as you step inside, the music just, like, thumps out at you immediately. And it's interesting because you couldn't really hear it from outside. There's this sort of like sound dampening thing that happens here. And as you get inside, the beat sort of takes you, and it's this sort of synth orchestra. There is a dance beat behind it and synthetic elements or synthesized elements to the music, but there's also like violins playing. And as you look around, you can see like around the dance floor, there are these big translucent tubes where you can see these giant silhouettes of what look like people playing orchestral instruments. So there's like the silhouette of a violin player and a cellist playing along, these larger than life figures playing along to the dance beat that's happening. And there are people on the dance floor having a great time. There's a bar in the center that is itself lit up. And you see that people are actually ordering and typing into the interface on the bar with what they want. And there's an automated bartender that is sort of vending the drinks and mixing them and making them and like sending them out to people. And as you step in, Pantheon just sort of stops and takes it all in. She goes, would anyone like to tell me what they see?
I mean, yeah, I'll make a perception check.
Cool.
I'll do that as well.
Paramount is trying very hard not to look like a deer in the headlights.
Mhm.
And
Like,
I
I've never
also-
seen anything like this before.
Sure.
But she's never been in this type of environment before, ever.
Which one's perception again?
Intelligence or will, depending on how you're doing it. Will is more intention-based. Intelligence is more just seeing what you see based.
It's gonna be 0 for me, dog.
Okay.
That's,
Yeah, you smell alcohol, you see dancers, you don't...
BB's overwhelmed.
You're in a
She's
club.
never been in a club before. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a full success.
Full success for you.
Willpower perception, please.
Oh, willpower perception. Interesting. Okay.
I mean, yeah, that's what I've been using all this time.
Yeah.
Since it's
Yeah,
my
yeah.
best. Yeah.
So, looking around...
2
Yeah.
out of 3.
2 out of 3? Okay.
Yeah.
And yours is intelligence-based?
Yes.
I'll do the intelligence-based first, actually. So, Silhouette, you're looking around and you see that the people here, a lot of them are wearing those masks as well. You also see that there is another door with not a rope in front of it, but there is like sort of a line there. And there is a figure, this huge, beefy woman with a shaved head, and the like the stubble on her head is like bright pink. And you see that people are lined up in front of her, and people are putting these masks on before they go into that room.
Mm-hmm.
You also see like there's no particular age group. Like everyone here is adult. But like there are a lot of like very classy people here who are like dressed up snazzily, like more snazzily than you would expect to see in a place like this. And then Haramon, you see what's happening at that door as well, and the fact that like people are, you know, from many different walks of life, and that there's an upscale element to what's happening here. But what you notice is when people walk up to this lady who's sort of bouncing people here, you notice that they do stop and they talk to her for a minute, and she looks them over hard before admitting them. So far, she has not turned anyone away, from what you can see. You also notice that the energy here is very controlled and cathartic at the same time. It's like everyone came here to get this energy out,
Mm-hmm.
and they are
like
successfully
everyone
doing so.
has an understanding of what the vibe should be.
Yeah,
Okay.
and no one is being particularly like rowdy.
Okay. What do you have to say to her to get in?
You really don't, necessarily. That's Polly. She knows if you're lying. She's there to make sure that no one underage gets in.
Is that her only function? Because that's hilarious.
Well, if things get rough, she intervenes.
And what would the legal age of entrance be for an establishment such as this?
18.
Thank goodness.
If you're planning on drinking, that might be something else, but
Yeah.
Really? Huh.
oh. Huh. Yeah, that's a thing. I mean, usually people under 21 are not allowed to be doing that.
Why?
I don't know. Safety?
BB, if you ever come to my home, you can drink all you want. Let's just say.
Wow. Thanks. I look forward to the opportunity. And she says that genuinely, but she's just so overwhelmed by everything.
All the
She's kinda
colors
like-
and the noise and the, yeah.
So, BB, I take it from the question, you've all figured out where it is we need to go.
Yeah, I guess so. Shall we go there?
As you get closer to that door, you can hear the beginnings of like murmurs and like cheers starting to come out of that room. And as you get up to like through the line, you get up to Polly. And she crosses her arms. She looks at you all. And she goes, "Do you consent to my abilities?"
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Good. She looks to Silhouette first. Are you 18?
Yeah. Over.
Are you 18?
Yeah.
As she's doing this too, you see that her eyes, the irises turn pink, and it almost seems like they're turning like wheels as she's looking at you.
That's really cool.
And
Her
she,
eyes are loading.
yeah, she holds it for a moment on each of you, and then she looks to BB and like leans in a little bit closer because you are obviously younger
Yeah.
than the others. She goes,
She baby.
"Are you 18?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why would you say it like that?
Because I've done this in real life. I've gone to a bar and ordered a drink, and the guy asked me how old I was, and I was like, 20. I mean, 22. I was fully 23.
I love that
Stop,
for her.
really?
Yeah, it was bad.
Holy
Oh,
shit.
I mean, he gave me
It's
the drink and
relatable
it was
content.
fine, but it was like, he was handsome. That was the issue, really.
Yeah.
Is that also what is going on here a little bit?
Yeah,
If
probably.
she's hot.
Yeah.
She looks to Pantheon and doesn't really do the thing. Seems like she knows her already. Remind me again, is your outfit like, can you see like your build?
Not. I think like if the wind blows,
Okay.
you know, like it's not loose.
It's like
but
it's like
But you're not,
Marilyn
like, bare
Monroe,
arms
but it
right
just
now.
it
No, no,
reveals
no,
your
no.
muscles.
specifically
She's fucking
covering
ripped.
Yeah.
every scar except for the face one, obviously.
Okay, so no comments are made to that point then.
Yeah, I mean, you can see your traps though, because it's like a this sort of shape. So the
But she
traps
is
yeah.
still built.
Yeah. Don't get it twisted. You can see they're skinny jeans. You can see it.
Yeah.
Just so we're on the same page. Shredded. Absolutely.
As she clears all you guys, she goes, "In case your friend hasn't already explained to you, there are explicit rules that Triple will lay out before the match, which is about to begin, by the way. Seats are first come, first serve. Find a place that's open and it's yours. Bets can be placed directly through the interface. Other than that, have a pleasant time." And she like forces this smile that's just very
Don't.
uncomfortable.
Don't. It's cool. You don't have to do that.
I smile back at Polly and I'm just like, thank you so much.
BB's like,
So you head inside what I can best describe as a sort of black box theater with stadium seating. There is a square area set aside with these sort of metal knobs on the ground, and you can see creases in the ground very cleverly hidden there. It's painted with this like marble-like sheen on the ground. And then the actual seating that goes up and around the entire area in this room is filled with people wearing these masquerade masks. Many of them, in fact, most of them are dressed very fancily, very high society. But there are some who are not as well, and everyone is kind of mingling together. A lot of people are typing into these screen interfaces that swivel up from the side of the seats, presumably placing bets. And as you guys begin to like find your seats, Pantheon goes, like, she looks up and you see the lights begin to dim. She goes, "All right, watch first. Then we'll decide how you want to proceed."
I don't want to proceed at all. I don't want to fight this man.
We gonna proceed.
As you sit and the lights dim completely, the stage lights up and begins to rise. It elevates on those metal knobs that you saw around the corners, extend up, and you see that they're like the rails of an elevator. And so the stage is just like a little bit upraised so that you can all see better. And from the central area there is this like kind of rainbow colored mist of these like pastel colors that all bleed together and roll around in the center. And as that mist clears, you see a figure standing, and music is playing from the speakers all around. And you see a man who looks to be maybe in his 40s, but it's difficult to determine age because he's a very impish quality about him. He has like dark blonde hair that is styled up into this big pompadour. He seems like he's probably wearing a little bit of makeup. He has this sort of pastel rainbow colored bodysuit that he's wearing, and then he has a black jacket over it that's like a pea coat that flares out around his waist with high boots on. And as he steps out, he has kind of a full beard that's cropped angularly around his jawline, and these just like very piercing big eyes and big smile as he addresses the crowd. And he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome one and all to the Super Slam." I see some familiar faces and some unfamiliar ones as well. I am your ever so unhumble host, Triple Decker. And the crowd just erupts into laughter. He goes, No. Hold your applause and hold your cheers. We have yet to announce our contenders, though you all know what you came here for, I imagine. There's like a pause for like a bit of a murmur that goes through the crowd. He goes, "For those of you who I'm seeing for the first time in my lovely black box theater, we have one rule here. Well, other than the age restrictions and general understanding that we're not doing anything particularly illegal within the boundaries of my walls. My one rule, no unwarranted brutality, no fatality. I will be judging these things myself, and punishments will be doled out accordingly. That being said, we're all here to follow the rules and have a bloody good time. So without further ado, let me introduce tonight's contenders. Hailing from deep within downtown First City, weighing in at nearly 400 pounds of pure muscle and scale, the vicious, the deadly, King Crocodile. As the light, like the spotlight, blares down at one of the sort of aisles through the stadium, you see this figure bound down toward the stage, and you see this massive, hulking, green-scaled man with a bald head, kind of like lumpy, overhanging features, big forehead, and when he smiles, you see like filed, sharp teeth and these bright yellow eyes. Just muscle and scale all over him. And he's wearing like black and red boxing shorts, basically. And as he jumps up onto the stage, like up the steps that lead up to the stage, he sort of takes his spot in his corner and just toward the crowd, and people are like, "Oh!" and like applaud and begin to sort of type into their little interfaces. And then Triple holds up a hand, and the crowd shushes a little bit. He goes, "And now, allow me, with great pleasure, to introduce the reigning champion of the Super Slam, still undefeated, the ever enigmatic, mysterious Shadow Boxer." And as the light shifts to the opposite side, with much less pomp and circumstance, you see a figure just walk with deliberate purpose in a straight line down the aisle. The first thing you see is the outline of a black billowing leather sort of trench coat with the collar just popped a little bit. And underneath that is this like sort of tight black and gray compression shirt. So you can see the musculature underneath, tucked into like black almost army pants and boots. His face is completely covered in what looks like a sort of lycra, well, maybe not lycra, but it's a ski mask that covers his entire like neck to top of his head. And then over his eyes are these like industrial goggles that reflect white and don't show any hint of the eyes underneath. And as he just walks straight up and then walks up the steps and takes his corner, he just stands there silently, waiting. As Triple says, "Ladies and gentlemen, place your bets." He waits a moment. He's typing. People, you can see the interfaces like in front of you as well. Pantheon doesn't do it. But she like looks at you guys and like gives you a knowing smile.
Are we allowed to do it?
You're allowed to bet if you want to.
I want to bet.
Okay. Who are you betting on?
The Shadow Man.
Shadow Boxer?
Yeah.
Do I want to bet? No, I'll let Joe bet.
Okay.
Do
So
I even have money?
yeah.
Sure.
You get student loans.
Yeah.
He goes, "Now, I want a nice clean fight from you both, boys. And I know this is going to be a show." As he begins to step off of the stage, he raises one finger in the air and then brings it down quickly into a fist. And you see that those 4 poles erupt with this force energy that contains the actual like battlefield, the stage down below, the ring, I should say. As he goes, 3, 2, 1, slam! Immediately, you see Shadow Boxer standing perfectly still, just waiting. But King Crocodile, in all of his massiveness, just bounds forward and leaps straight like claw first for the Shadow Boxer. The Shadow Boxer ducks under him like a man who weighs nothing. And the King Crocodile just like collides against the energy barrier, and you see it like you hear the sound, and it doesn't seem to shock him or anything, but like he's sort of testing the limits of the boundary. And he gathers himself and he shakes his head a little bit. He runs forward again and he just makes this huge haymaker. Shadow Boxer ducks. He makes another and Shadow Boxer ducks. As he steps back to try and come here, you see Shadow Boxer kind of gets up on the balls of his feet and just begins like 1, 2, 3, 4. He just has these like rapid bullet speed punches at this huge figure, and none of them seem to be even rippling the muscle. They're all just like doing practically nothing to this hide. And you hear this just like guttural laughter as this goes on for a moment. You then see King Crocodile grabs him by the collar and pulls him up and just throws him against the side of the ring. Shadow Boxer collides with it, but then lands kind of sliding down on his feet, on his heels. And as King Crocodile comes back to sort of finish his work, he has this cocky smile on. You see those horrible yellow sharp teeth. Shadow Boxer jumps up and wraps himself around this guy's arm, swings himself up to his throat, and gets him in this full body hold. You see that King Crocodile is now like trying to reach up and grab him, and some of the blows Shadow Boxer is just taking, but others he's like moving around like very gracefully, just like avoiding being hit. Finally, King Crocodile gets down to his knees and he looks like he's like starting to choke a little bit. Shadow Boxer hears the like uproar from the crowd. You see Triple, who is still watching from the stands, kind of look to the side in the direction of Polly, and then he lets go, and King Crocodile is like gasping for air. You then see Shadow Boxer flips like aerial spiral off of King Crocodile's back, lands fully on his feet, and just levels one perfectly straight sidekick with his heel right up into the jaw. And Crocodile falls without even enough time to like make much of a sound. This whole match only took about like 30 seconds.
Oh my god.
Crocodile falls completely to the ground with this uproarious thud. There's stunned silence in the crowd. And then just uproars of cheers. It seems like the majority of people in this room were betting on Shadow Boxer.
I stand up with the crowd.
This is how Joe's gambling addiction starts.
So as the applause just carries, it continues and continues. Triple walks up to the stage and he goes to clap this guy on the back, and Shadowboxer just sort of like shrugs away from it, kind of subtly, but stays standing there. And Triple goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for our still reigning champion, the Shadowboxer. You can go collect your winnings at your leisure, sir. We're going to take a brief intermission and then to the main event. Stay tuned, folks." And as he walks off stage, the Shadowboxer bounds off in a different direction, sort of disappears into the crowd. The music sort of swells again back to the same kind of music that's being played out in the club itself. People get up and start to like go get drinks and such. And you guys are left here sort of sitting with Pantheon waiting.
So, Joe, did you just win like money?
I think so.
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean the pool is pretty big. I think you win like $20.
Hell yeah.
I don't know how gambling actually works. Let's just say you win $20.
Sure.
Um,
Fucking bet in my life.
So as you guys are sitting in the crowd, Pantheon turns to you and is like, "So the main event that he mentioned is where people sign up to fight him. Sometimes people don't even do it. And if that's the case, then other things will happen. But if you guys want to try it out, which is what I would encourage you to do, I want to see you guys. I want to see how you work a crowd. I want to see how you maintain your identities. I want you to test out your combat ability in a less controlled environment like this. One that's still controlled, but it's not a training session, you know? This is more real, more tangible.
and sorry.
Personally, I trust that Triple will, not let you get seriously injured here, nor will I. That being said, I won't interfere unless I see that happening. But
What are his powers again?
Triple?
Yeah.
It's he can make 3 of them.
Oh.
So depending on how many people, that's why you can fight him as a team.
Okay.
Still a fair fight.
Are we signing up, y'all?
Yeah.
Paramount?
Well, if you want to go collect your winnings, you sign up there.
Oh. Paramount, what do you think?
I mean, I'll do it, but I don't want to fail the assignment, but
We won't fail. It's fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
And hey, if you win, there is nothing that goes on in this city that Triple doesn't at least know something about. So be thinking about what you might want to ask him. He may have insights into this case that we haven't thought of before.
Huh. All right. Well, where do we collect the winnings?
There's a window just outside on the other side of where Polly was.
I roll over to
Okay.
the window.
Oh,
So you guys-
follow.
You guys head over there and get in line just in time to see Shadowboxer collect his winnings. And the crowd is like gathering around him, trying to get him to say something, trying to get a statement from him. And you see that he just doesn't speak to anyone. And after he collects his winnings, he just walks past the line and down past where you guys are.
I shout out to him to stay for the rest of the show.
Oh shit! The call out.
He stops.
No, not in a negative way.
No,
like in a
I
positive
know.
way.
Yeah.
He stops.
Why am I surprised?
He looks just over his shoulder for a moment in your guys' direction. And then turns back and continues to walk out.
Okay,
He'll probably catch the live stream.
yeah, probably. I go to the window. I get my money.
the money.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you guys go up to the window, Pantheon is with you. And she goes, "These 3 would like to sign up for tonight's challenge. And is bookie the right word?
Sure.
Why not? Make a new word.
It's close
I'm
enough.
pretty sure that's the right word.
I'm pretty
I
sure
don't
it's the
know.
right word.
I think it's bookie. I don't know. The person behind the window is like individually or as a group?
Group.
Very well. You're first on the bill. People aren't feeling too adventurous tonight, it seems.
I wonder why.
Paramount will turn to the both of you and be like, it's actually easier to fight multiple people at once as one person because they're focused on not hitting each other. It's fine.
Names?
Silhouette.
Bang,
Wait,
bang.
are we giving our real names? Is that what
It's
we
up to
do?
you.
Oh.
Pantheon
Well-
just waits to see what you're going to do.
Well, they introduced themselves as King Crocodile and Shadow Boxer, so
Yeah, so a silhouette.
bang bang.
Paramount.
All right. Should be back on in about 5 minutes. I'll pass the information along.
The stress.
Good luck.
Thanks.
How long have you been back in this scene? If you ever left it.
Who, Pantheon?
Yeah.
I try to keep tabs on this place. I leaned on it pretty heavily back when it was run by the old families, but when Triple took over, I kept tabs to make sure that everything was still on the up and up. Seems like it is. In a place like this, there will always be dealings, but you can't control that. It's better that it happens here in a controlled environment where rules are upheld than somewhere else. Why do you ask?
Well, do you know how long Shadow Boxer's been around?
Not off the top of my head. I haven't been here in a while, if I'm being honest. I've been a little occupied the past few months.
Were you ever a shadow boxer type?
What, did I ever compete?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
People may not remember who I am, but if I go flashing my powers around, some people might. Maybe someday. But haven't really been ready for that.
So do we need a strategy, y'all? Each
I
take
have-
one?
I guess. Fuck, I have no idea.
Ian, out of character, we have been kind of operating BB's powers with that she can only shoot out of one hand, but during the legendary moment, she did both.
Mhm.
Can she do concussive force out of both hands? And then
Yeah, I think
killable
the
force
idea
only
of the
one.
concussive blast, I think it takes both hands
Okay, gotcha. Okay, tight.
to do. Yeah.
So both hands can only be directed in one
Yeah.
direction.
Like one big
Gotcha.
blast. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Harrowmoon will undo her ponytail and fluff out her hair. You guys can probably tell that this is like not her bag.
Mhm.
Just in general, like she understands the lesson that's being taught, but she also, there's something about the idea of having to like essentially for a night be a pro wrestler. She's like, so
She is a pro wrestler.
yeah, but there's something about the show business about everything that's happening that she's like, yeah.
Joe, do you have any gadgets that might be useful?
You
Got
know
any
what,
rope?
For
To tie 'em up?
rope to tie him up? I mean, maybe.
I mean, if
I wouldn't
Paramount-
really consider that a technology, but I think Harriman would have rope too.
Yeah, probably. Well,
uh,
I only brought my tiny belt. I didn't bring my full kit and caboodle, so probably not.
I have my belt, my long belt. I have a flashlight. We can blind him.
We gotta get you some like gadgets, like superhero gadgets.
I know.
I was just thinking we could, if Haramon distracted with her powers, we could like tie him up or something like that. But we just see what happens. You could rollerblade up to him and kick him in the chest and push him into the fence.
I could. That is a thing.
As you guys are discussing this, you see the lights begin to flicker inside.
I
All
think
right.
that's us.
It's showtime, baby.
As you step back into the room, kind of hanging back as people find their seats again, you see the music fades and Triple steps back up onto the stage. And his voice projects out. He says, "Ladies and gentlemen, we have contenders this evening. Lucky for all you fine spectators, you get to see me fight.
I just
3
got
new
very
faces.
nervous.
Yeah, same. Me too.
3 new faces and 3 new names that I have yet to hear. I have a feeling they'll be on all your lips after tonight. May we welcome to the stage tonight's contenders, Bang Bang, Silhouette, and Haramon."
Hermone does not go first.
Joe, do you want to go first?
I was gonna go first.
Go first. Do it. Do it. Yeah.
I like roll out and I just fucking like bow. and then I like wait for you guys.
BB will just wait.
He laughs heartily. He goes, "Well, aren't you a fun, fresh-faced bunch? Now, I'm not going to ask you about what your intentions are and what you intend to know. We'll leave that for if you win. If. Don't worry, I'll go easy on you."
Ian, can we say that I have the BB belt?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna have the brass knuckles already out.
Fuck yeah.
Oh shit.
Well, 3 of you, his form shifts and you see 2 more of him appear on either side. They all crack their knuckles one at a time. And the center figure says, "Here we go. 3, 2, 1. There's this big chime that rings out through the room. The lights, like the spotlight, centers on the stage, and he assumes a stance. I need everyone to roll initiative.
Oh, shit.
Is that agility?
Yes. So you roll the number of agility points that you have, but then actually add up the numbers.
Okay.
Alright.
11.
Okay, hold on.
I got a 6. Does that mean anything in this context?
No.
Okay.
I also got 11.
Oh shit! We ready to rumble? Come on and slam, and welcome to the jam.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought in my brain once the last fight started.
Me too.
Yeah.
When he says, "I'll go easy on you," I think Haramon was holding her staff small in her hand, and she clicks the thing, and it goes,
Oh,
and she's
hell
not
yeah.
pleased by that comment.
All right, BB.
11.
11, hair.
13.
Damn.
Yes, 8
Silhouette?
plus 5.
11.
Silhouette, what's your agility score?
Like, how many do I have?
It's less than BB's, right?
Yeah,
I think it's
4.
less than BB's.
I
Okay,
have 3. Wait, no, I'm lower. If you have
Oh.
4, I have 3.
cool. Okay, so you'll go before then. All right, so that puts Haramon up top.
Oh, shit. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Let's see.
Um,
You all roll very good.
Just as a reminder,
Yeah.
is the fence electrified?
No.
No.
It's
Okay.
just,
It's just
it's just there.
It's just there. Okay.
It's like, in that episode of Justice League, right? Where it's like they're trapped and it's like just a sheer wall.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
It's just a wall of like invisible force.
Okay.
It's a force field basically, but it's not going to hurt you. It's just concussive.
Mhm.
As far as you could tell from the last fight. So as these 3 clones of this one very vibrantly colored man one in front of each of you, all taking this very graceful fighting stance. One palm opens this way, the other stays high. Haramon, you are the first to act.
Ooh, that's fun, because Haramon's not gonna act.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Haramon very much is going to, kind of like Shadow Boxer, get up on the balls of her feet a little bit.
Okay.
And just wait for one of the hymns, to make the first move.
So you can hold an action then, until that. Like, hold your action until he goes.
You want a good grade on this, don't you?
Or you can just not. You can just, like, take a defensive action.
Yeah, because what she's trying to do, peek behind the curtain of my brain, is essentially wait long enough to suss out his fighting style. So if he tries to strike, she's going to move out the way, kind of situation.
Okay, so you're essentially taking the defense action.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get full rerolls on your agility to avoid, then on your dodge. So then, Silhouette.
Fuck. I was like, oh yeah, like Haramon's gonna start it. Oh, fucking hell. Okay. I will, oh, Jesus Christ. I don't know how to start a fight. I'm going to, are we just like on, like, oh my god.
You're standing like a few feet apart from each other, each one of you facing down one of them.
Okay. I'm going to, wow, I hate that no, never mind.
You can hold your action if you want and, like, attack after the first move has been made. If you can't think of anything at the moment.
I really can't. I kind of want to, like, get behind them just so that there's someone else there, I guess. So I'm gonna do that. I guess.
Are you going invisible?
Yes.
Okay, so you go invisible. Go ahead and make a stealth roll with your D12 on top of it.
Which one would that be?
It's this one.
But then do I use any of, like, the D6s?
Yes.
I
Yes.
forgot.
So you would use agility for it.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Okay, cool.
So you roll your agility die and you also add your D12 because you're invisible stealth.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Okay, I got 2 out of 4 successes.
2 out of 4? Okay.
Yeah, and then I rolled a 4. Oh wait, but I can.
Don't you have rerolls on
reroll.
stealth?
I do.
You have rerolls on
do
stealth.
Do I have as many rerolls as there are, like, skill points?
Yes.
Okay. I already got a whole 1!
No!
Okay. Got another 1! Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, this isn't gonna be a good fight.
Oh my god, wait, I have one more.
Okay.
You have 3 skill points in stealth? That's amazing.
I got 3 1s.
Oh,
Throw the whole
Natasha.
dice away,
Yeah.
honestly. Chuck
Oh my
it across
God.
the room.
What the that's never happened. They're all 1s.
So
Okay.
she's like, I swear
So-
this never happens to me.
So as you go invisible and
Still 2.
you try
Still
to sneak around, you're realizing that you were not quite ready for, like, how hard and polished this floor is. So your feet kind of squeak a little bit, like, on the surface. And as you get around to the side, like, you are mostly pretty quiet, but you see this guy who's, like, bouncing on the balls with his heels. He looks back kind of in your general direction and smirks.
No!
He knows the vague idea of where you are.
Okay.
So, bang bang.
Off of seeing him do that, BB's gonna run for that guy, and it's
Oh.
gonna look like she's gonna punch him, but she's actually gonna go into a slide, like fall down into a slide, and then shoot up with concussive force into his chest.
Nice.
Oh.
Okay, so yeah, go ahead and roll your attack. So
Okay.
it would be the same kind of attack as it always is.
Okay.
It's basically like it's a called non-lethal thing.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm nervous.
And
8. Okay, on my power that's an 8, and then for my other die, that is 1 success. But could I re-roll with the martial arts feat?
No, because you're shooting, so it's not
Okay,
martial
fair
arts.
enough.
Yeah.
So 2 successes, including the power die.
Including the power die, how many?
2 successes
2 successes.
out of 4. R.I.P.
Okay. So as you slide under him, you fire out, and as you do so, he spins away from it, and you see the force just boom, you all hear this noise. The same noise that you heard earlier, but now you can see actually like the effect of it, this shock wave that spreads out rather than this like solid bolt like before. Just explodes out of her fingers. And you see like the boundary of the wall on the opposite side just sort of it warps and bends a little bit and then snaps back into place. But he spins out of the way of it, comes back on his feet, and is like bouncing.
Of course, when Bibi slides, she goes bang. Yeah, but that's. Okay. I don't think I could do anything else. I think that's it.
Yeah. All right. So it is now the first guy's turn, and the clone that had been standing in front of Silhouette that you now tried to attack. As it spins out of the way, or as he spins out of the way, he turns back to you after you get up from your slide, runs forward, and goes for a punch.
Just a little punch. Just a little bit of a punch.
Just a little.
Okay, so you would roll a dodge. So
Okay.
roll your agility.
Okay. Let's go. That is 1 success.
Okay.
Out
So
of 3.
he gets up to you, and you see his fist just finds your weak spot as you try to get out of the way. He adjusts, and he punches you right up into the ribs.
How many points of damage is that?
About to find out.
Okay.
Is this everyone
12
has to
on
go
power.
down? I should have asked
Yeah.
this beforehand. Everyone has
We have
to
to
go
take
down.
out all of them, I think.
But for us too?
What do you mean?
Like, if one of us goes down, is the match over, or do all of us have to
Oh.
go down?
I think it's an all of us have to go down thing.
Yeah.
That would make most sense.
So I rolled a 12 on his power die
Oh.
here, on his martial art die.
Ooh. Ooh.
So that is a critical hit,
Damn.
as he just like centers himself completely. You don't expect this figure to be so composed, such a graceful martial artist that he is. And as he punches up into your ribs, he just like finds this perfect spot between the bones, and you feel it kind of crunch in a little bit as you take 17 points of damage.
Oh my god, that's half my health. Am I still on the
Two-shot,
ground?
dude.
No, I think you got up. I think it's
Okay.
safe to say that you got up.
Two
Okay.
shot. I'm calling it.
That's half my health.
Yeah, that was a really, really good roll. I
Okay.
rolled a 12. It's a critical, so it was double the die.
Yeah, I know.
Holy fuck.
So
God damn, dude.
that's his turn. It is now the second clone. So I'm gonna note that the first clone is the one that's engaged with BB. The second clone is the one that is standing in front of Hermone.
Hey.
So he's going to run up and try to punch you as well.
That's agility to dodge, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a 2.
Oh, yeah, no. That's a 3.
Okay. So as he runs forward to punch you, your defensive stance is ready. And like, do you block with the staff? How do you block?
I mean, Can I just straight up not? Can I just move out the way?
Yeah, you can just move.
Yeah.
So as he goes to punch, you just move out of the way in the punch, and then
Take
he pulls it back very quickly
Take
back
a-
into place.
2 quick steps back,
Mhm.
reset.
Okay.
Yeah.
He kind of tries to stay with you, and that's his turn. So the third clone looks to the one engaged with BB, and there's this moment where you see the three of them. It's almost like they're sharing information in a way. He looks over to where, roughly in the general area where Silhouette is, and runs over and is going to try to make an attack. So when you make your dodging check here, you're still able to do it with your stealth rerolls for your agility here because you're invisible, so punching you is going to be harder.
Okay.
So go ahead and make an agility dodge check with your stealth rerolls.
Okay.
Active.
So it would be an agility roll with stealth. Okay. Dude. 3 out of 4, but I can reroll, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Four out of 4. Can I reroll another one? Because one of them was 6.
Why would you reroll a 6?
Because she
No,
has 4. She got 3 actual successes, but it's a 6.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So 5?
6.
Yeah.
6 total?
Boom,
like
boom.
6 out of 4.
Jesus.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Oh boy. Okay. So I'm trying to think here because I rolled 6 to hit you,
Oh.
Oh shit.
Oh.
and I think it goes to defender, right? Generally, or does it go to attacker?
If you're,
I think
it generally goes to the attacker.
Yeah,
Like,
because
if
you're trying to hit that number or
if you're-
more.
Yeah, if you're trying to hit a
Yeah.
save, if you're trying to, yeah.
So he still hits.
Damn.
So you feel very confident. You're like dodging out of the way. You're very quiet. But what he does is, as he runs up, he makes this grand, sweeping, fast armbar and just covers a full area and just knocks you in the side of the stomach
Ouchie, wouchie.
for 9 points of damage.
Okay.
What are you at?
20.
20? Okay. You're at 20, I'm at 17. It's fine. We're good. We're thriving.
So that is their turn as we go back up to the top Haramon.
Okay, from that single punch, can I do some sort of perception check or something to see if there's any give to something I can work with on, like, a side he favors, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, we can call that a secondary action.
Okay.
If you're kind of a quick glance. If you took your whole action to do it, it would be easier to do.
Easier to do.
But you wouldn't be able to still attack.
So I can do it.
You can do it, but the DC might be a little bit higher.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3. Looking at him, you're realizing that he's very dexterous,
Mm-hmm.
good on his hands, but his footwork isn't the fastest.
Footwork isn't fast.
So he's not super fast and super dodgy. He just has real fast hands.
Real fast hands. Okay. I will take my staff and try to essentially just stab him in the foot with it to try and knock him off his balance. Throw him off, try to jog him a little bit. So that, okay.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I rolled no successes on his dodge.
All right, so that's a 4 out of 3 on that one then.
Okay, so
Do
go
that.
ahead and roll full damage on him.
Okay.
And this is on the one that you were engaged with, right? Already?
Yes,
Yeah.
the one that is trying to keep
The one
us
that punched you.
free.
Or that tried to punch you.
That tried. So that's just the amount of d6s in the ability, right?
This is with your spear, right?
Not the good spear.
Well, it's still with the melee weapon.
But yeah, it's still with my melee.
So it would be 1d6.
1d6.
It would be
okay,
1d6 plus the relevant modifier.
Okay. That's 4. I rolled a 1.
Okay.
But that's something. It's something.
Mm-hmm.
So you stab into his foot, and you see that he's like pinned there for a second. He's like, "Ugh!" And he like grins and bears it, and then he like shakes it off and he laughs a little bit for a moment, but it comes off a little bit nervous. He was not expecting to actually get hit.
Yeah. And then she'll just reset. Just resetting every time to the same pose, trying not to give anything away to him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Silhouette, you've got this guy like kind of zeroed in on where you are now. The wind has been knocked out of you a little bit.
Okay. I'm going to... Okay, I have a question about, like, what would make sense that I have in, like, my cargo pants. So I was thinking... Okay. Remember in, like, session 0 when I took those power cores from the robot?
Yeah.
Would it be possible for me to, like, tie it to one end of, like, the surrounding and then just, like, fucking trip him by, like, trying to move really quick under him?
That's an interesting idea. Yeah, okay. So you can, like, disengage and try to get away, because in this moment, like, yeah, he kind of knows where you are, but he can't see you trying to leave, you know? So there's not a lot he can do about it. So I don't think there would be an attack of opportunity. So I think you can, like, leave. I will ask you to do another stealth. You'll probably have it in the bag.
Okay. Okay. Wait, I roll my d12, right, too?
Yeah,
well?
for stealth, yeah.
Okay. I'm so nervous. And I gotta re-roll, right?
I'm so dumb.
I can re-roll it 3 times, right?
Yeah, if you have 3 rerolls, yeah.
I didn't roll my d12 on that. I keep forgetting to do that on that attack. It's with my melee weapon. I'm so dumb.
Okay, I have 4 out of 4, but I got a 5 for my d12.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to... He's still, like, looking around like, I got you now, as you, like, sneak away, having adjusted for the floor this time.
Yeah. Wait, so then do I get to do that action, like, on this turn, or is that for something, like... Yeah. So the general, like, movement trying to get away, I think you can still, like, do an action, because that wasn't much of an action, you know? Just, like, getting away. And it's not a very big area. Because getting away is also me doing the action. Does that make sense?
Okay, so give me the rundown of exactly what you're trying to do.
Okay. So I'm assuming we're, like, in a box, like a fucking, like, WWE
Yes.
Situation. I tie one of the power cores, because I'm assuming it's, like, a long cord, right? Okay. I tie it to one of the, like, bars, and then I, like, tighten it, and as I, like, move out, it, like, pulls out from, like, under him, like, past his, like, calves to, like, trip him.
I see.
Oh, okay.
I understand.
So
I think you can go and you can tie it this turn, and then you'll be able to do it next turn.
Okay.
Yeah. Or on his turn, if he tries to get to you or tries to get past you, he'll take the effects of it on his turn.
Yeah.
Okay, so BB.
So what did he say at the beginning about the type of force that can be used?
No
It's
brutality.
non-lethal.
Non-lethal and, like, no overkill, essentially.
Yeah. So basically,
Wonder
don't
what-
try to kill the man.
Okay, that's fine. BB's had a really rough couple of days, and there's a lot of anger and sadness that's just around, and she also just got hit in the stomach for half of her entire hit points. So she's going to shoot him in the knee with actual force, and then try to run away.
Okay.
Please don't ruin this man's career. Please don't.
No, I don't do it. I'm just running away.
What'd you
I misfire and shoot into the ground. I got 1 success out of 4 The one success is not the power die. So BB shoots into the ground and then is frustrated at herself and tries to move as far away from him as possible.
Okay.
While also not being in range of the other ones.
I mean, I only rolled one success on the agility there.
Oh,
So
I
you
also
would-
have a sharpshooter ability skill.
Mhm.
I forgot. So I technically get one of these re-rolled.
Yeah.
Um,
But you hit already anyway, too.
okay.
But it doesn't
sure.
have to, the power die doesn't have to be the one that succeeds either.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The power die just determines the damage.
Gotcha. Do you want me to re-roll the power die for the damage or keep it as it is because it's 2?
You can. I don't think the power dies get rerolled.
Okay.
Yeah.
But-
So
okay. So,
Yeah.
but that first roll is for the success.
Yeah.
But it also carries over into damage.
So damage works by whatever you rolled on the d12 determines whether you roll 1 or 2 d6 for damage. So if it was a success on the d12, you'll roll 2 d6 for damage. If it wasn't, you'd roll 1 d6 if you still succeeded in general.
Oh, okay. So do I roll a d6 then?
Yes.
Okay.
Because the number
Gotcha.
on the d12 was not a success, right? But you still
Yeah, it
succeeded
wasn't.
overall.
Yeah.
So the d12 would determine that you roll 1 d6.
5.
Ooh.
So 5 plus is that plus your dexterity?
Yeah. 8.
So 8 total. Okay.
And she still does move away from him as far as she can.
So as you move back, you take a shot into the knee, and you see there is a significant injury there. You shoot. It doesn't look like you ruined the cartilage or anything like that, but you do create this burning singe that smokes quite a bit, and he leans back on it and is struggling. It looks like he can't quite move very well, and he's trying to figure. He looks a little bit frantic for a moment, but he's trying to keep up. He's trying to keep it going.
Bang. We live in the future. You're gonna be fine. We've got future medicine.
So, as we move on to his turn, he looks down at his injury. You see him try to walk closer to you, and he can't quite do it. He looks back toward the one engaged with Haramone, and you see he absorbs back into that one. So now there are 2 on the board.
All right. All right.
And that takes his whole turn to do.
Shit.
So it is now the second one. As he comes in, that one looks a little bit more hardy, like he gets a charge from the other one coming back. And as he runs up to you, he's going to try to make a punch.
Oh boy. Wait, me, right?
Yes.
Okay. Oh boy.
3, 4. So that's 4.
I don't get any defensive. Oh no. That's 3 for me.
Okay, so he does manage to hit you. It'll be a 2d6.
Uh-oh.
So
Uh-oh.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you take 10 points of damage.
All right.
As he runs forward, this kind of hardier version of himself, he just punches you square in the chest, and you're like, ugh, as you stagger back a little bit from it. He then squares himself up again and gets a little bit of that confidence back. He is working the crowd as he does this with one hand. He sort of flourishes, and people are losing their minds over it. There was also, by the way, when you shot him in the knee, this huge gasp over the crowd
Yeah, did I see that?
that he did. That she did that.
Before he, is okay.
Yeah, I think it was safe to say that it's a small ring.
Okay.
You probably
And-
saw it happen.
So when he absorbs into himself, is that injury just gone? Is it
Yeah.
Okay. My turn, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, not yet.
No.
That was the second clone. So the third one who was engaged with Silhouette is now kind of looking frantically, trying to figure out where to go, and he runs forward, kind of in the direction that you went, as he feels around and doesn't see anybody. As he runs forward, you see him trip over the thing, and so I am now going to roll agility, which he's not very good at. That's 1 success.
I hope he
So-
fucking falls.
He does indeed fall.
Yeah.
and take 2 points of damage.
Great.
BB shoots this dude in the knee, and there's just like blood oozing out. And Natasha's so it's like, I hope you fall.
As this happens,
Hope he gets a
like,
boo-boo.
Yeah.
as you see him, like for a moment, he's like trying to box the air and getting nothing, and then he runs forward and he trips and falls on his face. That gasp in the crowd turns into kind of a laugh, and you see the expression on his face get like hot and angry.
Oh,
Hell
Ooh.
yeah.
for
You just
disrespecting
seem-
this man in his own house.
Now it's
Just ruined this man's whole career.
Oh god. Okay. I'm gonna try to make it look. I'm trying to do a feint on him and try to make it look like I'm going for his legs again. Maybe I'll make a face at him or something. Like I'll make it like I'll look down and then. But what I want to do is take my spear and try to uppercut him, just like in the jaw with my spear,
Hell yeah.
my staff.
It's 1 success on agility.
Yeah, that's 2, 4 out of 4. But the power die or the specialty die was a failure.
Okay, so you'd roll 1d6.
1d6. 1d6. All right. That's better. That's 6.
Okay, 6 plus your
No, that it's 6,
6 total.
Yeah.
Got it.
And taking the defensive maneuver is like your whole
Your
action.
full action,
Okay.
yes. Okay, so as he's like kind of hardier, he's gonna gather himself up. You see that injury is gone. You rush up and you jab up, and you hear that little bit of crack, and he like, oh, and you see blood kind of coming down a little bit from the wound.
She makes a little like, sorry, and then
And he looks about as rough as he did before he got the clone back.
yeah, she's gonna try to strafe around him for her either bonus action or just movement. She's like, she could kind of, I think she'll look over at BB and Silhouette and be like, I'm growing more uncomfortable by this by the second. I don't like this. Yeah, and just reset. Just reset.
Okay. So Silhouette, the man is on the floor.
Okay. I think I'm going to. Would it be possible for me? I can only do one thing, right? Or like
One big thing, or
Okay.
a couple like small things.
Okay. I want it. Tell me if I'm allowed to do this then. Can I take those same like power cores and then tie his hands and then kick him? Can I do that? Or is that
You can
too
try
many
to
big
tie his
actions?
hands or kick him.
Okay.
One of those things.
Okay. I'm going to tie his feet. That's what I'm gonna do. I want to do
Hell
that.
yeah.
Do I have to roll for that? What do I roll?
Yeah. Go ahead and make a dexterity check on
Okay.
that.
Gonna make him trip again.
Yeah. Do I don't roll stealth for that or
No.
like the d12. Okay, cool. 2 out of 3.
Okay. I also rolled 2, so you do it.
Yes.
So you get to him, and you see him trying to kick out of the way, but he doesn't expect you to be back there, and he almost doesn't even feel it in a weird way until it's too late. And as you finish it, he tries to kick out, and he just kind of mermaid kicks and flops. It's like, what?
A fool! I made this man a fool!
The crowd is laughing uproariously now.
Does Silhouette
Oh,
say
yeah.
that to the crowd?
Huh?
Does Silhouette say that to the crowd?
No.
Disembodied voice. Oh no.
Oh god.
BB.
Okay, BB's gonna now sprint up to the clone that Hermione disengaged with and punch him in the stomach in the same way that he did to her with the brass knuckles.
Okay.
What do I roll?
So do you have You have a D12 in martial arts or something? To that
Yes,
effect?
I have a specialty in martial arts. That was what I was going to ask you. I've been
Yeah.
saying I have a skill in martial arts,
Right.
but I hadn't looked at my paper in a while. It was a specialty. What does that mean?
So you re-roll all failures.
Oh, okay. I'll know that for the future then.
Yeah.
So
But also get a D12.
Yeah, okay. For having a specialty with a D12, yes, you also roll a D12 on that thing, and if it's something that involves damage, then you would use the D12 to determine the damage the way that you would with a power.
Gotcha. Okay. Let's ruin this man's life. I'm gonna re-roll this because it fell on the ground. Tight. Okay, so I got 2 out of 4 successes.
Okay.
The power dice is a failure.
Okay. I rolled but 1, so if the power die is a failure, 1d6
Gotcha.
plus your
Strength plus 1 for the brass knuckles.
Yeah.
Okay. Come on. 8.
8 total. So as you rush up to this one and you try to knock the wind out of the stomach, he tries to move and you match the movement. Your knuckles catch right in the stomach and you push hard and you see the wind get completely knocked out of this clone and he, like, the eyes flutter and he goes unconscious. And that particular clone just immediately on instinct, like reactionary, sloops back into the other one.
That's tied up?
Yeah.
That's what we
So
call
now the one that's tied
success,
up is the
baby.
last one on the board.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes. But that's the real man's, so we can't hurt him.
Yeah.
Wait, let me make sure I did my math right there because
I thought that the real one slooped into the clone number 2, which was my clone.
yeah. So the original one of the 3 that BB shot went into Haramon's one. So you would have to go up to Haramon's one and do a punch. Okay. I'm wrong. I'm sorry. My math is really dumb. So you said 8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, like, that does happen that he flutters and gets, like, kind of fucked up, and you're still engaged with him. So BB comes up to the side and, like, knocks into him, and he, like, actually does fall back and almost onto the ground, but he catches himself, and he's, like, bleeding. He's, like, winded. You see he's, like, hunched over his stomach, and he's still trying to stay up, but he is not doing well at all. So there are 2 of him on the board. One of them very fucked up, and one of them tied on the ground.
So the one that BB and I are engaged with is the real one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then that's a clone on the ground.
I can't really verify that because you don't really know if there is a real one, like how it works.
Okay,
you know?
but like in terms of like the splitting off,
Yeah.
the one that the 2 split off from is now also the one that BB and I are engaged with.
But I would imagine they could all just reabsorb into
Into
everyone
anyone.
else
Okay.
until the final one was the real one.
I see.
Yeah. So it is now his turn, the one that you are engaged with that looks really fucked up. He looks like he's holding an action for a moment. He looks back at the one that's tied up, and the one that's tied absorbs, and you see the rope that's tying his legs go limp and fall. He now
Looks a little
looks
better.
a little better.
When
So as he
enemies
looks
use
back up,
strategy?
as the other one comes back into him, he laughs a little bit and he goes, "You put up a good fight." He closes his eyes like he's starting to realize like he might not be able to do this, but he's going to make a move for it.
Give
We're
up,
gonna try it.
Give up. Give.
He comes forward, and he's going to take a shot at BB.
Okay.
Oh my god, BB.
It's okay. I showed him what I'm capable of, so that's all that matters.
True.
Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 5 total.
Jesus. And I'm rolling how many?
Agility, whatever your
Okay,
agility
sorry.
is.
He's not leaving melee with me though. Because we're like.
You're all pretty close.
I also rolled 5.
Oh.
You also rolled 5.
No, sorry,
okay.
no. I rolled 4. Excuse me. Sorry.
Okay, so he does hit. So as he comes up, that's going to be 2. 3, 4, 5, 9. So you would take 9 points of damage as he looks like he's trying to pick who strategically he thinks he has the best chance of hitting. And he runs up to you and just like makes this wild up thrust. Actually, no, he doesn't really work with his legs that much. So as he comes up, he brings around this like sideways uppercut. I know martial arts. And like punches you in the side of the jaw, and you feel it kind of. It doesn't break or dislocate or anything, but it does hurt. Okay. And then he pulls it back again with that same like bullet speed that resets him as he looks between the 3 of you, and then back up at the crowd that's kind of turned on him. Yes. And he goes from this stance to this. He goes, if there's anything I know, it's when I'm beaten. And to the victors go the spoils. Congratulations. And the crowd begins to like tentatively clap, but then they realize what's happened and they like lose their minds that somebody managed to defeat him. And you get the impression that this doesn't happen very much. Mm-hmm. And you look at him and he's beat up and you can see the hints of the injuries that the other clones sustained. Like his clothes are messed up in that way permanently.
I'm gonna be like, hey, I'm sorry about your knee. It's been a bad couple days. It's fine. I mean, that might have been on the border of something bad if it had connected more, and there might have been penalties for that. But luckily for you, things turned out all right. So,
I was gonna say something.
Yeah, same.
Silhouette grabs the power cores from the ground and holds them up to the crowd.
As you reappear, the crowd loses it. They love you so much for how funny you were during this.
Can I try to pinpoint where Pantheon is?
Yeah, go ahead.
At least
proceed. What does her mom think?
Where we left her,
Mm-hmm.
like
Baby,
last known location.
Baby spits a little blood on the ground behind her.
Ooh.
Just a little.
Nope, can't see her.
What did you roll? Nothing. Okay,
Nothing.
Yeah. The crowd is too busy going crazy and starting to come down and gather around the ring to like congratulate you and talk to you. So as this is happening, he's just sort of like addressing the crowd and flourishing a little bit, and he goes, well, we all know how this works. They have earned a conversation. To the victors go the spoils, to the victors go the information. Everyone is welcome to a drink, and as for you 3, well, we'll talk.
Yay.
Give me a moment to change. And he sort of gathers up his dignity and leaves. The energy barriers go off. The stage lowers back to ground level. And you guys are kind of accosted by the crowd a little bit. As that happens, Pantheon moves through and sort of intercepts. She goes, out of the way. Move it, you guys, this way. She's beaming and not hiding it at all.
Wow.
Oh, Mom.
As she brings you guys to like a private sort of alcove back out in the bar, you see Polly is like looking at you guys and just like smiling as you pass. And it's like, she nods to all of you like, hey, haven't seen that before. And as you guys go to this like private alcove, there are these cool, like weird sort of plasticky looking curtains that she pulls across. And then she actually like programs them to change color into a more like clearly opaque, like a dark black, so people can't see you. She tries to usher you there as quickly as she can too. And she sits down and she goes, that was incredible. You guys, come on. Best field trip ever. Sorry. Are you all right? First of all.
Best field trip ever.
My jaw's a little fucked up, but best field trip ever.
Hermon doesn't say anything. Just takes a drink.
So what have we learned from this experience?
People are dumb and they love violence.
Yeah. But why? What about that? At what point did they turn? Because I can tell you, I know exactly when it was.
Was it when Joe went invisible and did all that funny stuff, and then I shot him in the knee, so it was like danger, but also funny?
She didn't go for the kill. She played on his weakness, his pride. And it worked. And it got the crowd on your side. Be careful not to get drunk on it. The attentions of a hungry crowd waiting to be saved, in this case, saved from boredom, that can get to you. Can get to you fast. But you can also choose to use it to your advantage. Don't take that lightly. And now, as you see, as she's saying this, the curtains sort of like somebody is knocking on them. She goes, "Come in." As she opens them, you see, having freshly changed, Triple comes in and goes, "May I sit?"
It's your bar fight club thing.
Well, but I still respect other people's privacy, and you moved pretty quickly away. Now, I've got to say, as he kind of scooches in, he goes, "Those were some of the most impressive moves that I've seen here in quite a while. When I saw three, frankly, rookies that I'd never seen before walking into my ring with delusions of grandeur, I expected delusions of grandeur. Turns out you're actually just that grand. The crowd loves you, and you made me a ton of money. So I can't begrudge you your victory.
Thanks.
But to what you actually came here for. Everybody wants to know something, and I know everything. What do you have to ask me?"
What are we gonna ask him?
What are we gonna ask him? I forgot to think about it while we were fighting.
Yeah.
Let's say we would have talked about this before, probably as well, because we knew kind of what this was, the whole shindig was going to be about. Do we want to know about Detective Asher?
That's my first instinct.
That's the most difficult piece of information we haven't been able to get our hands on.
True.
Or the smoke, both together. What do you guys think?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering what he would know about Asher that like Fortress wouldn't already know.
Yeah, or a Wi-Fi couldn't dig up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
I'm
mean,
not
I
sure
have
what-
a question, but it's not related to anything that we've been playing on with.
What's the question?
Oh, I just want to know about Shadowboxer.
I'm sure he'd answer that
Yeah.
outside of this. Oh, the Amberley stuff. The family who was in the house. We don't know their names. That could connect back to Asher.
That's true.
Yeah.
I would like to know more about that.
How
How can we ask it? How can we ask it in a way that we get both answers?
Well, we get a conversation.
Yeah, you get a conversation.
It's not like
Okay.
3 wishes.
Yeah.
know?
I thought it was.
Well, we can do it by saying like there's this fire incident that happened that is similar to one that happened to us. We saw the assailant who did
yes.
this one.
Yes.
Still don't know that to be true.
That's
No, what?
we know that the same fire power existed in both
Yeah.
settings, and that the person who was across the street left an ash mark on the windowsill, which I think adds up to them having fire powers, unless there's someone else there. Is that what we want to ask the Amberley stuff? Lead with that.
I don't think we have anything else that needs
Solving.
yeah, asking. Like, we don't, like, oh, what are the stock prices? Like, what are we going to ask other than that, you know?
Yeah. So we've been caught up in the midst of a, how would you guys describe it? Mystery? Fire?
Debacle.
A debacle. Debacle is a good word. We've been caught up in a debacle where it just seems like bad, dangerous things keep happening to us. For instance, we're at a house party, and we were led away. Do we want to bring up the shadow creatures?
Nah.
Why not?
Nah.
Why not? What would we lose by giving him that information?
I mean, we're airing, like, all of the dirty laundry that, like, Nova is, like, going to investigate, probably.
I suppose, but I feel like that's also the point of this conversation, is to get information from ways we won't be able to get to it naturally.
True.
So
yeah,
is that okay with Hermione?
Yeah, I mean, I think Hermione is just, like, she's done for the day, so, like,
Fair enough.
she'll just let you guys talk for the most part.
We're at this party, us and a bunch of other Nova Team squad members. Joe and I both
I knew you went to that academy.
Yeah. We haven't learned a lot so far.
I beg to differ.
We at this party, we saw these shadow creatures. Joe and I heard some voices say our real names in the back of our head. We follow these shadow creatures out into the forest. We fight them, no big deal. We come back, the house is on fire. But it was burning from the outside in. And we later have found out that a similar fire happened in a town called Amberley and was reported on. We don't know the names of the people who were in the house or who perished. We only know the name of the journalist. Did the journalist die shortly after? No, okay. We only know the name of the journalist.
Now, I do know about that.
Oh, you do? Well, let me
Well, I
finish.
know about what happened in Amberley. Or at least that it happened. Is that what you wish to know about?
Yes. What happened?
Well, a while back, about 5 months ago, shortly after the news came out about it, well, when I say came out, it wasn't exactly being advertised in First City proper. I had to seek it out. I have ears everywhere. But you know that if you're here. That fire in Amberley was strange business. Burned outside in, just like what you're talking about. Funny thing is, come about 5 months ago, I get this woman coming in, flashing her badge around, asking questions about mysterious fires and strange goings-on, any shady characters that I wasn't familiar with that had come through with the power to manipulate fire and in unique ways that I'd never seen before. And as it happens, around that time I had met someone who'd done so. I never saw his face. He was very hush-hush about his identity. He always wore a hood and a mask. But he came to me, desperate, asking for help. He said that something terrible was happening in Amberley. He said that the government was conducting secret experiments on people, that it was something of a secret breeding ground for such activity, hiding in a suburban coastal paradise. Now, I had no particular evidence of this, but the boy seemed desperate, and he was a good fighter in the ring. Bested me, not unlike yourselves. So, I played matchmaker. I informed this detective, as well as this man that I only knew as Igneous. I told them about each other. Maybe they could help each other. And I offered to host a private, protected meeting between the two of them so that he could put his information out there through the proper channels, so to speak. He agreed, as did she. Funny thing is, the man disappears before the meeting could happen. What was her name? Asher. Detective Asher. She showed up to the meeting, surprised as all hell that he didn't. I never saw him again. Curious as I was, I put some feelers out. No one had seen him.
And did Detective Asher's surprise seem genuine to you?
As genuine as such things could be. I was sure that there was something she wasn't telling me, but that's the nature of the game.
Do you know why Igneous sent those fires initially in Amberley?
I have no idea whether or not he set those fires in Amberley. He never said as much. He only said he had insight into the events, into what was going on there and what the government was doing. Very secret conspiracy movie garbage. Honestly, I wasn't that particularly ready to trust him, but he seemed so genuine. And thought it would be interesting. He did earn it after all. So. But he was very careful not to tell me any more than I needed to know. He didn't want it going through the underworld. He was afraid of something. Don't know what. But if he did run afoul of Alma, or any other government for that matter, perhaps he didn't want the information having the potential to leak back to someone else. He might not have even approved of it going through some young students of Moonlight Academy. But here we are. You've earned what you've earned as well. So fair's fair.
Do you guys have anything you want to ask?
Do you know where Detective Asher is now? Or what she's been up to?
I've heard tell that there was another particularly interesting fire at the Moonlight Academy. Piqued my interest. And I know that Asher is asking questions. She's around. But as for where she is now, no idea.
You ever meet anyone with powers to make shadow clones like the ones I described at the party?
I can't say as I have.
Huh.
On that subject, I'm afraid I'm of no help. You've hit the tiny sliver of things I don't actually know.
It's okay, we don't know either. I don't know if we have anything else to ask you, but thank you. Sorry about your knee again.
All things heal in time.
How long has Shadowboxer been around?
Shadowbox has been around for a couple of months. Reigning champion.
Like,
Most impressive fighter I've ever seen in that ring. Though he's never really asked to fight me. And that's as much as I'll say about that.
couple of months. Edging closer to 3?
Roughly.
Cool. That's it.
I think that's it from us. Thank you for allowing us in your fine establishment.
And thank you for an evening of very fine entertainment. Please, feel free to enjoy the spoils whenever you feel the need. Although if you want any more information out of me, you'll have to earn it a second time. And that won't be so easy the best this time. I'll be ready for you.
Sure.
All right.
Have a
then
drink
I'm-
on the house.
If you say so.
He stands
Thanks.
up, kind of adjusts the collar on his peacoat, gives you this deep bow. Pantheon kind of... He looks at her like he smiles, like someone does when they know someone, you know? He gets up and leaves, you guys sitting here. This is Pantheon, by the way. Well,
Well, we know Asher's definitely involved. So that's a piece of information we didn't know. And we know about Igneous.
I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Nova is going to want to investigate. They're going to want to know what's going on. I don't know about turning things over to Asher at this point. We do have the option. But for the time being, I think finally, at least for the moment, I don't want you involved in this any further. We have a solid case here. We have good evidence. And I will be giving this evidence over to Fortress. Are we all cool with that? I mean, it's happening whether you are or not, but...
Yeah, I mean, we
yeah.
just have to retrieve the file folder we have at home to give to you.
Good. Let's head home, get a good night's sleep, have a wonderful weekend, and the following week we'll pick up where we left off with our training. Put this behind us, at least for a while. Proud of you guys.
Thanks.
So, burgers? Or are we
Burgers.
sick of that yet? So as we fade out on this conversation, as you're all making your way up and out through downtown First City, the lights playing off each other, Pantheon just says, "This night is turning out to be more important than I ever could have realized." As you walk down the street,
Why is she so weird?
we are going to pick up next time 1 month later. And over the next week, we're all going to discuss some maybe key points of like what happens over the next month of training. And when we pick back up on the plot, that's where we'll be.
Thank God. 'Cause
Time
could you
skip.
imagine if it kept snowballing?
Mhm.
No, I couldn't. I would be so anxious.
We would be dead on our feet.
Thank you guys. That was so much fun. I was so looking forward to this particular session, getting to get out there, do some hero stuff.
As a party.
Thank you all for joining us. I hope that you can join us next time. And until then, superheroes. Bye.
Bye.